Vesmir pops up onto the carriage so he can see, and he casts Magnify Gravity at third level, which runs in a 10-foot radius and gets these three. They all
Oh.
need to make a Constitution saving throw. DC 14.
A fails. B fails. C fails. Holy shit! I just rolled 5, 6, 7.
Oh no!
They all take 3d8 force damage for 13 points.
How do you want to do it with 3 of them?
I like almost event horizon them and just pull them in together, and they just smash into bits against each other and just collapse.
Tuxedo Ken! That's Tuxedo Ken.
We return to the adventuring party who are taking refuge in the small merchant trading town of Loudwater, banks of a river on the western side of the Grey Peak Mountains. Having traversed the mountains with your caravan safely intact and making some new contacts, doing a bit of shopping here in Loudwater, finding a few knives and other fun things, picking up some accessories from a few of the shops and curiosities, trading some valuables that you picked up along the route in exchange for gold. The party settled in for an evening of feasting and conversation and sleeping in a nice, comfortable bed, waking to the smells and sounds of breakfast being prepared downstairs, and spending the next day exploring Loudwater. And that is where we will pick up the adventure. Give me just 1 minute. Gotta remember how to make Talespire work.
What a...
We are on the board of Loudwater. All right. So we have one more day in Loudwater here before the caravan will mount up with Azam and you'll head north. The final destination along your journey being Oakhurst, a small town near the Lurkwood Forest, way up north on the other side of the continent, the northern reaches of the Sword Coast, being the final destination. Is there anything the party would like to do in Loudwater on your day before the evening comes and you return to the tavern for yet another nice, restful sleep in a comfortable bed and warm food in your bellies before hitting the trail once again, guarding Azam's trusty caravan?
I'm good.
What was that? Oh, I'm gonna go back to Star's Knives.
Okay.
By the way, quick mechanic question: the knives I bought from her, they're more like, I imagine, the decorative. Like there was comments about them being of good make. Does that mechanically have any impact, or is it more just flavor?
More flavor.
All right, no worries.
Flavor Town.
The flavor is fine. I just wanted. I thought about that.
If you pick up something that mechanically, I will tell you mechanically what the impact of it is.
Alrighty.
It's just a merchant trying to make some coin.
No, totally. It lines up. Karl, to keep some nice looking knives for good reasons.
You return to the dimly lit shop with smells of oil and steel, as the familiar Deanna is hard at work trying to hawk her wares to other patrons and people coming into the shop. She looks up and recognizes you and says, "Back so soon? You thought better on my offer of before?"
Well, with the lovely lady as yourself, strong and independent, I couldn't help but come back, you know? But, enough.
Blush doesn't take your compliment. Flattery will get you everywhere, my friend. Now, what can I do for you?
Well, first off, this longsword here that I got, I don't really need it, so why don't you just take it? You can fix it up nice-like and make some coin off of it.
A gift?
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you
it's
very
not
much.
the prettiest gift, but, it's...
A little bit of work may bring life back to this sword yet.
Yeah.
Graciously accept. Takes the long sword from you.
Oh, I just want to help as much as I can, The other thing is we're kind of leaving town. That's a sad thing because there's a lovely town here and you got a lovely shop here. And don't know when we'll be back, unfortunately, but we're going up to Oakhurst. The reason I bring this up is there anything you'd like me to do or bring or carry a message to anyone you know in Oakhurst?
I can't say that I know anybody that lives that far north.
Oh, well.
I mostly keep to myself here and have what I need, but your offer is most graciously welcomed. I just don't have anything to pass along other than spreading the good word of Stara's knives and where to find some of the finest blades and knives on the Sword Coast.
Stars, Knives, and Loudwater. I remember that. That's all. I just wanted to come in and see this lovely flower one last time before we depart tomorrow.
It was a pleasure seeing you once more, and safe travels.
Safe travels.
I hear there's been trouble up to the north.
What?
Oh, just rumors here and there. Some of the roads aren't exactly the safest. I'm sure that's why a person of your skill would be hired.
True. But if I may indulge, I know you're busy. I appreciate it. But what kind of rumors? I mean, we talking about bandits? We talking about creatures, kobolds?
Bandits, and rumor has it that there's been some hobgoblins on the march.
The march?
Vicious creatures.
Oh.
Yes, they've been pushed out of the high forest yet once again. And I think the militia's tangled with them more than once recently, so they're keen to get revenge. So stay safe if you're headed north.
I appreciate it. And just, remember, not all of us off creatures are bad, There's some nice, some of us are still nice in this neighborhood.
He nods.
And I bow politely and head out to find wherever the group is.
Okay. Anybody else wanting to do anything before we head to the head back to the tavern?
No, I'm good.
I have nothing else.
All right. Well, another day of exploring Loudwater and its wares and curiosities and sights. The sun begins to set as you make your way back to the Green Tankard, a welcoming, warm, cozy tavern that you shared last night. You find Azam, and sitting at a table already with a familiar face of blah 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 blah. Captain Harrow Leaf. They look to be enjoying a tankard of ale and what looks to be the remnants of a hearty dinner sits before them, and mostly empty plates at this point. They look up as you enter. My friends, compatriots, come join me.
Ah!
Vinny takes off flying.
I was just trying to get inside. Oh well, thank you.
You're welcome. Just so you start to go in through the door and then boom. You see the barmaids working their way around the room, it being just as crowded as it was last night. Holly and Penny serving plates of hot steaming food, mugs of frothy ale, a few goblets of wine here and there. Penny recognizing the group and making eye contact with Karl and giving him a very subtle wink. As you take your seats around the table, she comes and says, gracing us with your presence again tonight, I see. Is there anything I can get you?
I'll take an ale.
I will also have some wine if I don't mind. Thank you.
She makes notes of the orders and whatnot.
Just some food for me.
He looks at the big tusked Talgar. And for you, sir? Forcing him to conversate.
I said the same. I'll have an ale.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't hear you. All right, so she takes the order from the group and heads off behind the bar to begin preparing your tankards and whatnot. The party kind of settles into the comfortable, well-worn chairs. Familiar smells of stale ale spilt upon the floor over countless nights. The roasted meats and vegetables wafting from the back room. Loud clamoring of conversation, laughter, and just general revelry of the room. Azam and blah 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 blah. Captain Harrowleaf, thinking conversation, look up and he begins to introduce the party and kind of go over some of the travels and the trials of crossing the Grey Peak Mountains, filling in Captain Harrowleaf on the daunting tale of the Red Cap Cavern and the cave spiders with their sticky filaments and the battle that took place there before emerging. The gnolls to the exit of the cave. Captain Harrowleaf said, yeah, we've had some problems with the gnolls. We've driven most of them away, but they take refuge here and there in small pockets, trying to pick off the lone travelers and really any opportunity they can. Scavengers mostly. A big enough force they turn and run.
What can we expect to the north?
It's hard to say, to be honest. We've had a few tussles with some creatures, mostly hobgoblins. There was a decent sized cluster of them that we scattered to the wind, but they've definitely been a little miffed at that whole engagement. A rumor has it that from a few of the merchants that's come through that they've tried to pick off a few wagons here and there. Nothing in force, or that a small group such as yourself shouldn't be able to heartily defeat, but the rivers remain safe. The road to the north, you may run into a little bit of trouble.
Now,
nothing from what Talgar was explaining would pose too much of a threat to you.
I was just earlier today. I was in the weaponsmith shop, Deanna, Star's Knives. And good place for blades. But she's got a nice, huge pair of biceps. It's really cool. But what she was telling me was that she mentioned the hobgoblins, but she mentioned that they were pushed out of the high forest. Is there something in there that's chasing them out and causing them to threaten everybody?
Same old thing that's always been there. elves at war with the other Dinzians. The elves don't take kindly to pretty much anybody, even us militia, venturing too far into the forest. Hobgoblins, I'm sure, were up to no good. Ventured probably too far forward and got pushed out. Could have explained why we were running into such a cluster of them. But again, they were quick work and mostly scattered at this point, so I don't think you would see more than just a pocket of them here and there. Keep your wits about you. Put one foot in front of the other, and I'm sure you'll be through the danger with no issues. Besides, Azam here, he's seen much worse. Remember that time when that pseudo-dragon horde came running out at us? And go off telling some stories of their olden days, of the first caravans. Azam laughing heartily at the retelling of the story with a few embellishments here and there. Every time they refer to one of the pseudo-dragons, the arms get a little bit further apart, much like fishing stories.
What's a pseudo-dragon? Is it like you, Azam?
He looks a little offended by the question. He's like, no, they're, I think, reptilian, like, the size of maybe a medium to a large wolf. Scaled creatures. Quite fierce, but dumb as a box of rocks.
Huh.
Make a loud enough noise and brandish a little bit of iron at them, and they'll scatter. These were driven mainly mad due to hunger.
What do
We
they
made quick
eat?
work of them. Anything they can get their mouth around.
Sounds like if we kill a few, that might solve the problem. Let them eat the dead.
I have no doubt that they would make quick work of the carcasses. Especially when they're in a frenzied state such as that.
This is good information. This is very handy to know. Thank you for sharing.
So conversation kind of drifts off. Captain Harrow Leaf, if I've got his name, yeah. Harrow Leaf kind of concludes and stands and kind of shaky on wobbly legs, and as I think I've had enough fun for one evening. Azam, it was a pleasure as always, and don't take too long coming back this way. You be safe up north, and if you run into some of our old friends in Luskin, tell them that I send my well wishes. That they should head down here for a night of debauchery and ale. Azam nods and says that he'll definitely pass on the word, and that it was good to catch up and see him again, that the time has treated him well, and he wishes him further advancement until the next time he sees him. So Captain Harrowleaf kind of wobbles towards the door. He turns and bows to the party and says, it was a pleasure meeting each of you. Be safe, and good luck with whatever adventures the North holds for you.
You as well.
So he heads on out. The room returns to its normal kind of murmur and revelry, and you see a few people drinking, if one or two slumped over their plates, a few of them filling themselves. You see a couple playing some type of dice game over in the corner. Looks to be a small pile of money on the table. And everybody seems to be just having a good time. There's a relaxed atmosphere. Holly's returned and giving you your drinks and tankards and whatnot. Offers food if you want it.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, meal would be very grateful for.
I'll take a nice long. Karl takes a nice long swig of his ale, makes a gesture and conjures some good berries in front of him, and says, "Thank you. I'm good. Keep the ale coming."
Small smile escapes the corner of her lips as she nods, turns, and heads off to the kitchen to return only shortly later with a platter full of peppered quail and roasted turnips, some black mushrooms, and a pitcher of red wine and another pitcher of ale to refill your tankards. Leaving it on the table, she turns and heads off to help another table.
Karl will take a moment to sort of take in the background conversation to see if there's anything he picks up that's of use.
A lot of trade talk. Roll perception.
"12."
There's discussions of the price of fish, local kind of just back and forth of the best spots, some of the rapids that have emerged during the summer months as rain kind of falls off from the spring, exposing some of the swifter passages of the river. Just for the most part, it's just general trade talk, caravan talk. Not a whole lot comes to your ears in regards to anything too interesting or rumors. Here and there of the just local town gossip. Nothing of import really.
All right.
So, Azam says we leave early in the morning as is usual. We've procured 3 wagons. They'll be loaded tonight and tomorrow morning. We will head out and make for Oakhurst. It's a considerable ways away. It'll take a few weeks, as I explained, and there's a few stops along the way. Tribor and a few of the other small towns along the old road as we venture north to Oakhurst, which is on the edge of the Lurkwood Forest.
I know where Oakhurst is.
That's right. You're from around there, aren't you?
Long time ago.
Hey,
We're making a short stop in Long Saddle as well, but for the most part, it should be a straight shot all the way up to Oakhurst near Mirabar. So, you had a question, Vinny?
oh, no, I was just going to bug Karl. I didn't want to interrupt Azam.
Well, he stands on wobbly legs himself, nods, and says, well, if you gentlemen don't mind, I am going to retire. I will see you in the morning. I have a hard day's travel. Stepped on by Tyee. So, Azam heads off to go upstairs to find a room. Leaving the party at the table to converse and plan.
Any of you guys know much about bugbears?
Would Vesmir, in his research, have any idea about bugbears?
Roll me a nature check.
Nature or history?
This one would be nature.
Sure. 11.
You know that they're furry, vicious, ferocious creatures. Not uncommon to encounter them when you're exploring goblin encampments or other gobloid establishments. Occasionally, a pack will break off on their own and form their own tribe, but it's more of a rare thing than common.
I relay some of that information to the party.
Good to know. Sounds like we'll need to keep an eye.
Yes, always in the wilds, one must be perceptive to their surroundings.
Hey, Karl.
Yes.
Do you know much about the north, where we're headed?
A little. I'm familiar with Luskin and some of the surrounding settlements.
Do all the elves hate of off races like mine?
Do you want the real answer or do you want the nice answer?
Well, no, I'm out here to learn, but so you can be honest with me.
Karl will take a long swig of his ale first and say, most elves are going to shoot you before they talk to you.
That's good to know. Do you hate me?
Not at all. Not at all.
That's surprising. Maybe I can show your people we're not all that bad, right?
We can try.
Hey Karl.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know when you're drowning in milk? When it's past your eyes, Karl. Past your eyes. And I cast hideous laughter on Karl. A wisdom saving throw of 12.
Only because I have a +3 saving throw, I'm going to try and roll for it, because why not?
Talgar chuckles.
I was trying to do a Walking Dead Karl joke.
I whiffed it anyway, so we're gonna laugh hysterically.
It's just for a minute, I think, but that's all I want to see.
Tears begin forming in your eyes. You're having trouble catching your breath as you're just like belly laughing, which is an unusual sight for such a reserved, natured person so far.
And I go back to eating and let other people talk. Or drink, whatever you guys want to do.
I assumed I'm
sipping on my ale, watching the laughter commence.
Are you just being quiet, or are you muted?
Huh?
I'm wondering if Tye's yeah, okay, there he is.
I was just making sure you weren't muted. You hadn't said anything for a while.
Unmuted.
Okay.
That's why I didn't want to like do everything on this. I want you guys to have fun too.
That's all good.
All right. So, does anybody have anything else they'd like to do before we move forward in the adventure?
As Karl's laughter subsides and having an ale in him, he's going to wander to the dice game and investigate, see what's going on.
Okay. Then you walk over, you see a rather grisly-looking older dwarf. He's got dirty canvas pants, his beard dripping with ale as he takes another big swig from it. Sitting across from him is a human male that is wearing common drab as well. Kind of no distinguishable features or anything. But they seem to be playing some game that involved 3 dice. Dice is rolled and a count is taken, and then the other 2 dice are then rolled. And the wager seems to be wrapped around whether or not the initial dice roll will be between or on the outside of the dual dice being rolled. They take notice of you. Are you watching from a distance, or are you?
Not distance, yeah.
Okay. So you see them play a few rounds here and there, money exchanges back and forth, neither side really getting the upper hand. They seem to be quite enjoying themselves as they kick back some ale after every round.
I'll look back to our table of people and with minor illusion make the words, "Come on over" appear and point to myself.
Are the other people at your table?
Yes.
Okay,
Folks,
so you're moving towards so you're getting them to. I'm not understanding the layout.
Yeah. I kind of was watching the dice game and then wandered over and trying to get folks to join us. Just have a round or two.
Vesmir makes his way over.
So the dwarf sees the glowing sign above your head, sees the new interest in his game, and asks if you would like to join him.
Sure, what's the ante?
He kind of looks you over, seeing the clothes that you're wearing. 1 gold a round.
Reach my hand in my pocket, grab 2 gold coins, and smack it on the table and say, "Let's make this round 2 per," and see what we do.
Big toothy grin spreads across his bulbous face, and he makes room for you to sit at the table as the human slides to the side. Dice are shaken, and he would like. He asked you, would you like to be the walls or the castle or the siege? Double or single dice for you?
Castle.
Okay, so he hands you the matching pair of dragon bone dice, and he takes up the single. He said, "The rules are simple. I'll roll the siege, and you roll the defense. Predict whether I will make it into the castle or be stopped at the walls, either inside the 2 dice or on the outside of the 2 dice scores."
Got it.
So, I will begin. So he takes the dice, gives it a hearty roll, and drops it upon the table. Rolls a 7.
Outside.
All right. And now roll your 2 dice, and let's see where we end up at. Oh. Are you using some of that trickery, or... Oh, wait, no, I won. So, confused for a moment, it dawns on him that he has won the wager and pulls the gold towards himself.
Excellent.
Sorry, I was confused. Care to play again? Make sure you mark off the 2 gold.
Yeah, I did. Sure. Okay. I'll slap another 2 gold down.
All right. Tower of Siege. I'm sorry. Yeah. Castle of Siege.
Siege.
All right. So he hands you the single dice. Big grin smiles across his face. Definitely on the outside.
Can I try to make a quick sleight of hand check to snag one of his coins?
I mean, you could.
While he was rolling.
I mean, they are sitting like on a table that's lit directly in front of him.
Yeah, okay, let's not do that. That's a good call. I'm sure that would be disadvantage at best.
That'd be like double disadvantage.
Double, yeah, basically.
I probably would have you roll a disadvantage, but I definitely would probably change the modifier to quite high.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay. So he greedily takes the second. Seems to be having the night of his life here. Again? He asks questioningly.
Once more. 2 gold.
Castle or Siege, my friend?
Siege.
All right. Roll away. I do believe they'll be on the outside again, my friend. Oh!
Ooh.
We charge again. So, basically, it's a draw. So, shall we roll again?
Yes.
So I rally my army. Oh, tough one. I think you'll make it inside. And inside it is. Let's see, takes the other 2 gold. Down 6 gold. You sure you want to keep playing?
One final round. Slap 2 more gold on the table. Actually, this time we'll slap down 5 gold.
Oh. In that case, I will siege. And he matches your bet. So he blows on the dice, lets it roll across the table. 5.
So inside means I think I'll roll higher than that, right?
Inside means that number is between the 2 dice that you rolled.
Got it. Okay. All right. Inside.
The rest of the party watches Karl develop a gambling habit. What is happening to the dice? Inside it is. Oh, such an amazing roll. Dwarf looks quite grumpily, but shoves the coins your direction, having lost most of his winnings this last few rounds. He looks in his coin purse.
All right.
Says, I think I've had enough of you.
I'll say, yeah, I did what I meant to do tonight. Thanks for the fun. Then walk away from the table.
He looks a little disappointed at the destruction of his hot streak there, but goes back to playing for small wagers with the human. You see a silver and a couple coppers.
Oh, then I'm good to turn in for the night.
Okay.
Pat Karl on the back. Well played.
All right. So, as the evening draws to a close and patrons begin to kind of wander off and things calm down a little bit, you make way for your rooms. And unless somebody has anything else you want to do, we will go ahead and cycle a long rest. Make sure you reset all your spells. And you get a nice protected long rest here in the tankard, the green tankard.
Yep, I'm good.
So dawn breaks as you wake to the smells once more of breakfast being cooked and served downstairs. You make your way and not only fill your belly, but also grab a few extra biscuits for the road and the journey this morning, and head out to meet Azam. You make your way through the city of Loudwater, merchants setting up shop for the day, shop windows beginning to open, people milling about, smell of fresh baked bread kind of wafting through the town. As you make your way to the city gates, passing by the militia training ground, already a small regiment of militiamen there training, suiting up, patrol, looking about to head out for the day. You see Azam on the other side of the walls, already rounding up the 3 wagons. They look to be loaded for bear, full of different goods and trade, skins, silks, some dried fish, a few other crates that are closed, and just a variety of kind of trade goods. Nothing quite like some of the valuables you traded crossing the desert here and there, but just a different flair of goods and items. The caravan consists of 3 wagons, each pulled by a double set of horses. For the most part, the horses look pretty healthy, well fed, and of good quality. At least well enough to definitely do the job, being in tandem teams of 2. Azam greets you. Welcome. Are you ready to head north?
But
As soon as possible, Jam. Let's get going.
Who else is coming with us? Are there any of the other adventurers or travelers?
It looks to be just Azam and you.
And the wagon drivers?
Yeah, and the wagon drivers.
Okay.
I was going to have you drive the wagons, and then I thought better of it. So, there's 2 other individuals. Look to be just regular common folk, nothing special. Wearing commoner clothes, no armors or anything.
Yeah, ready to go. I want to climb up on the middle wagon so I can have a high point to keep a lookout.
Okay. What is the rest of the party going to be for as far as marching order goes?
I'll take point.
Okay, you will take point. Are you going to be on foot, or are you going to be in just the front wagon?
Is the landscape foresty or deserty or?
It looks to be dense forest flanking either sides of Loudwater here. There's the road that kind of parallels the river that moves down towards the west. Before you can kind of see in the distance, it kind of curves to the north around a bend. It's cut off by the trees.
Dense forest. I'll stay on foot in the forest in the darkest places I can get.
Okay.
I'll ride up front on the wagon.
There's some Talgar is in the front wagon with Azam.
How many wagons did you say there were? Sorry.
There's 3 wagons.
Vesmir will ride in the middle wagon.
Okay. Let me actually just make note of all of this for a marching order. Okay, Talgar, front wagon. Who is in the middle wagon?
Vesmir.
Vesmir's riding. Vinny's kind of in the wagon itself.
Incidentally, by mechanic point of reminder, I'd forgotten. Apparently, I get a D4 extra on all stealth checks that haven't been using this whole time.
Cool. Add that to your OP points.
Exactly.
Right, so Vesmir and who else is in the middle wagon? Is that Karl?
Vinny.
No, Karl's running in the wood. Vinny. Okay. And where is Mr. Tyee?
In the back.
Wagon. Tyee. Alright, and then scout on foot will be Karl. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, got everybody. And then Azam's in the front wagon as well. Okay, so when we're traveling, we'll just assume that that is the order while in wagons, or at least this caravan, and then we change it up, we'll just add a different marching order. So, the caravan sets out as the sun begins to breach the trees. It's a warm summer day, but still much cooler than anything you experience crossing the desert. The road begins to wind as the wagon rocks back and forth, making its way down well-used ruts in this often traveled road here. You make the journey down around the bend, beginning to turn to the north. You cross a small stone bridge that looks to be of dwarven construction from some time long forgotten. A few repairs here and there made on it. You cross it easily and begin to head north. The trees thick on either side as the road kind of winds through it as you continue to head north. Karl, you're on foot. I need you to roll me a it's me either. Let's just do a perception check.
$22.
You are quite perceptive. As the party continues to head north through most of the day, as you approach the halfway point, you hear another caravan coming down from the northern direction. You pass by kind of waving. It looks to just be a couple other merchants on their wagon headed towards Loudwater. Both parties kind of nod as each other pass. But other than that, they...
Stars Knives! Don't forget to go there for your bladed needs!
They seem taken aback at this as they were just driving by when you just belt this out at them from 10 feet away. But they nod and kind of crack the reins and speed up a little bit. As they disappear to the south. The party continues heading north and will kind of finish out the day without any other options. You did see a few other passerbyers, other caravans and whatnot as you kind of head north. And Azam says that we'll probably be looking for a good place to camp here near the forest. Not too far from the road. And we'll begin again tomorrow.
Very well.
So,
I'll take first watch.
okay.
Vesmir will take second.
All right, so I get a who's taking third?
I said I'll take third.
Okay. Let me roll. You make it through the first shift with no problems. The second shift begins. Everybody sleeping here kind of in their camp. Talgar, I need you to roll perception.
It's Vesmir first.
Sorry, Vesmir.
15.
Okay. So as you sorry, I'm just trying to interpret this roll here.
No worries.
So you do not hear anything as your shift passes, and we move to the third shift. You make it through the evening with no additional issues or interruptions, and we begin to set out on day 2. Same marching order?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Vinny, you see as the wagon approaches, probably about mid-afternoon of the second day, the mid-afternoon, the wagon approaches kind of a narrowing in the forest where the road is kind of right up against a small outcropping, kind of a bottleneck here, which makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Being the background and experience that you have, it looks to your eyes as a prime ambush location.
I at
What
least
do
let
you
the
do?
party know. Keep your eyes out, because this is a very dangerous spot. Keep your weapons up, your arrows out, your spells ready.
With the word of warning, I think I'd like to try to be a little extra stealthy.
I was wondering, Karl, do you
And
find
I just got the characters mixed up. I meant to say that to Karl, but it's all good. So, Karl, you're the scout. You would see this.
I
Oh,
was
well,
wondering, Karl,
fine.
to scout ahead.
Well, then would Karl have told us, or?
Yeah, don't know. Karl, what are you doing?
We will minor illusion the word warning in the air in big red letters.
Azam seeing this and slowing the the wagon. He seems to be alert and makes sure that the rest of the party sees as well. So he quietly motions towards the sign.
Vesmir puts up mage armor.
Nice. And then Karl is trying to be a lot more stealthy, so I'll throw a stealth roll here in a second.
Okay.
And Vinny's going to ruin it all. How close are we to it?
To the narrowing of the forest? I don't know, it's a couple hundred yards.
Okay. I'll wait until we're within like 100 yards or whatever, and Vinny will kind of shout out, "Oh, just passing through. Just let us pass. It ain't worth your life."
So Karl will continue to creep in the woods around the sides with a stealth roll of 15.
Okay. So in the distance, you see 3 shadowy shapes that are looking at each other rather confused.
Seeing the shapes, I will cast invisibility on myself.
As you approach them, you see 3 very confused goblinoids, dark red and orange kind of skin.
Just him?
Actually quite large. This is to what Karl sees.
Okay. So I don't see that.
But being invisible, I can minor illusion 3 in bush, the words in front of the Zam. Maybe with an arrow pointing to where I'm at.
Okay. I'm just switching up the boards here. Give me just a moment. So what are you doing?
So Karl is in
3 in the bush.
3 in bush with an arrow pointing left or right. I mean, it's 2D, so it's like left or right. I can't put exactly at them, but it's left or right of the road.
What's the rest of the party wanting to do?
We don't know of anything ahead, though, do we?
He just posted this in neon sign to y'all.
Vesmir dismounts and just travels slightly, like, up to the next wagon and just peers ahead.
I'll also jump out on foot at the ready.
Vinny stays on top of the wagon and he just shouts again, "There's some very deadly people here. Just let us pass. Trust me on this."
All right, and Karl will stay and watch the three shadowy figures if the caravan continues to pass.
It is. They seem to be conferring with each other, and then kind of one pushes another one, and then they kind of point back towards the road. It looks to be taking up some type of like position right on the other side of some rocks that the wagons will pass by.
Can Karl get into a tactical position to shoot one?
You roll a stealth check of 15.
15. Also,
Yeah.
are we on a different board?
I am setting up the board.
Okay.
Just a word, like that was your stealth roll before you turned invisible as well.
That's right. That was a stealth roll.
Oh,
but then
that's
I
right.
did
You're invisible. Okay, yeah. Actually, give me another, just another stealth roll now that you are invisible as you try to sneak forward. You'll have to tell me what you got.
18.
Yeah, 18. Okay. Yeah, you're able to move quite close to them. You could like kind of almost circle around behind them without them noticing, and as you close, you do notice now a fourth one that looks to be hanging back just a little bit.
All right. Well, let's see.
As they're walking up, Vesmir just has some arcane energy rolling through his hands, playing with the Ray of Frost cantrip, and just sort of dispelling it and preparing it within his hands as he walks.
Okay, give me just a second. I'm putting people in wagons.
So just so I'm clear too, it sounds like they are ignoring Vinny's warnings and they're preparing to fight anyway. Is that sort of accurate?
That is what you appear to be seeing in front of you.
Excellent. That's in line with my expectation of what I'm making Karl do here is give them the chance to run away. They seem to not be doing that, so we're about to do some other stuff.
I get you down onto the ground. Shadows.
Can I do one more thing?
Sure.
Just play a quick little tune. Come on, creatures, be our friends. You don't want your life to end. Let us by and you will save the day. While I sing my song and strum and play. Hope you have yourselves a nice day.
I'm going to just say, don't ever not play a bard.
Right. All right. So as you begin to strum your song and whatnot, and the wagon turns the corner, I need everybody to go to the board. Caravan Forest. Such an apt and non-generic name.
And not that I need more OP-ness on the first round, but would I get a surprise round? Because that's kind of my intent.
Oh, penis.
As soon as I said it, I'm like, someone's got to say something.
Yes, you would. But only against one.
Yep.
All right. So I got wagon placement and everybody over here. See their characters. Why is the wizard out of the wagon?
Well, because I said I got out of the wagon earlier.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, same. I was on foot.
Oh, okay. Well, then place your characters where you would be as you're coming around to this. You have an orange warning sign above your head that's been cast that says, 3 in the bushes. All right. So, Karl, do you see the creatures?
I do.
Okay, so you see 3 of them, just kind of very similar, and then there's one in the back kind of hanging back a little bit, all oblivious to you, listening, waiting, crouched in the bushes, waiting for the caravan to get a little bit closer.
Right on. So we're gonna. So I'm assuming Dread Ambusher doesn't apply for the surprise round. I'm guessing that applies for the first round of actual combat.
That is correct.
Excellent. So we're going to take a surprise shot at the closest, which is the cap, to me.
Okay.
Would this be advantage or not?
Seeing as he is completely unaware of you, I would say it's probably with advantage.
Alrighty. Here we go.
He nukes one of my creatures right away.
Oh, thank you, advantage. The first one was a natural 1.
Damn.
Ugh. The second one was only an 18.
All right, we'll stand by here. Let me actually pull up this encounter so I can get everybody's initiatives. So the first one hit.
Okay, 18 hits. We're going to roll. Do I get my normal bonus action as a part of this as well?
No, you just basically get an attack.
Okay, I thought so. Okay, the
Right.
attack is only 4 damage. So my expectation here is I'm going to shoot and then run 30 feet as far as I can, kind of back to my buds.
Okay. Well, you're going to shoot, and then we're going to roll initiative. So you've shot. I just need damage now.
Yep. Damage is 4.
Damage is 4. Okay. And I need everybody to roll initiatives, please. Tyee, you rolled a 20. Talgar rolled a 3. Karl, what is your initiative?
20? Did you not see mine, or did I have something messed up?
I saw Tyee roll a 20, so... No, okay. Whenever I type, it closes the little sidebar.
Yeah, it looks like Ty and I both did roll a 20, and my dex is 17 with a +3, so I imagine I go first.
Vesmir, you get a 9.
Correct.
All right. Let's start here.
And Vinny with 15.
Karl, it looks to have you going first.
Wonderful. All right, so first I'm gonna roll 2 attacks because of Dread Ambusher. So we'll see if they both hit. We're shooting the cap. Both of them are shooting the cap.
Okay.
First shot is a 17.
17 hits.
Second shot's 24, so 24 is going to hit. So, as a bonus action, before we deal with that, we're going to Hunter's Mark, because I should have said that. I typically do that. So, Hunter's Mark first. How do you want to do the favored foe? So, favored foe claims on the first hit, you can declare a favored foe. But would that apply for the second? Let's say no. Let's say it doesn't apply for the first round, but next round, favored foe applies. Does that kind of make more sense?
I will look at it here on your character sheet.
Yeah.
When you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can mark the target as your favorite enemy for 1 minute or until you lose concentration, as if you were... Okay.
Oh, shit, no, it's concentration. So Hunter's Mark is concentration, so I cannot do that. That's what it is.
You have to do one or the other. Yep.
One or the other. Yep.
Okay.
So Hunter's Mark went on him, so he gets 2 hits with both with Hunter's Mark. Only one gets a +3 to it. So it's 2d8, 2d6 +3.
Roll.
$14. And I get 10 foot of extra movement, so I get 8 tiles, and I will move 8 tiles, and you don't have to wait for me. I'll move 8 tiles. Oops, and you go for the next person in the rotation.
All right, so next person up, Tyee. You hear this a few arrows fire off, and you hear some grunts coming from a bush up in front of you. It is your turn. What would you like to do?
Oh, I can't really see what's going on. So I'm just gonna prop up on my cart and take a look, and I don't notice anything, so I end my turn.
Okay. Vinny, you are up.
How far away is that bush from me? About? It's hard to tell.
The noise, that looks to be probably it's on the other side of the bush. So
14 tiles is what? 70 feet?
probably something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
that's 10. Yeah, 70 feet.
70 feet. Okay. I guess I see the bushes. I don't see any enemies. I'm just riding along with the cart.
Okay. I mean, you do hear the noises, but
Yeah, I hear noises, but I don't know what's going on.
okay. Keep in mind the carts are not going to move.
Oh. I thought Azam slowed. I didn't know he actually stopped.
Well, I mean, I can't move the carts on the map. They're not models. They're
No. Yeah, fair. I just...
okay.
I mean, I'm
I just
trying
wanted to
to...
make sure if you're waiting for the wagon to drive through, I got bad news for you.
Yeah, so... I mean, how far would I move if I was stayed in the wagon, or... Just for...
And another thing, you would probably have heard that hobgoblin scream. I mean, he did just take like 4 arrows.
Yeah, so basically Azam hears the arrows and stuff, and he pulls back on the horses, stopping the wagon train for narration's sake.
All right, I'll get up, get out. 5, 10, 15, 20. Try to climb up, and I'll just get as far as here, and that's it. I mean, I see bushes. I don't see anything, so I can't really... that ends my turn.
All right, sorry if I'm being confusing during this.
No.
guys.
I'm just trying to...
No. It's
not
like
God mode
it's almost
and-
as if somebody was. It's almost as if somebody was invisible and they just started shooting arrows without telling anybody.
All right,
I have no idea what's going on.
I'll end my turn and just say, run away. And that'll be my turn.
Okay. So emerging from the bush is 3 large hobgoblins. They come running forward. Oh my god, tangled in the trees. Alright, so one of them is going to shoot at Vesmir, one of them is going to shoot at Talgar, and one of them is going to shoot at Vinny.
Would
As they come...
Vesmir have partial cover at all?
Vesmir... Not from the one that's shooting you.
Cool. Thank you.
Alright, so let me roll the attack. So Hobgoblin B is shooting Vinny. +3 to hit. It's 13.
Nah.
A is going to shoot at Vesmir. That's a 20.
That's a hit.
It does 3 points of piercing damage as a poorly made arrow smacks into you. And then... actually, B is the one that's going to be shooting Talgar. C is the one that shot Vinny. That's going to be a 21.
Yep.
As you get hit with an arrow, doing 8 points of piercing damage as it hits a more vital area. I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. he will run out here and start barking orders in Goblin. Yeah, I think he speaks Goblin. To slay them all and take the wagons. Yeah, he's speaking Goblin. And with that, that will conclude their turns. As Vesmir, you're up. Talgar, you're on deck.
Vesmir will look around for loose rock and catapult it at Hobgoblin A.
Okay. So what is my check there?
Dexterity saving throw of 14.
He rolls actually rolls a 20. It's a dirty 20.
Fair enough. Vesmir.
Matrix dodges your magical stone being thrown at him.
I'll hit one day. Vesmir pulls out back behind the wagon, trying to get total cover.
Okay.
And that's his turn.
Talgar, you're up, and that makes Karl you on deck.
How high is this wall next to me? Can I easily climb it?
Yeah, it's about. It would be difficult terrain. I would say it's probably 10 feet. 10 feet up to the top ledge.
It'd be like half movement then.
It would take you. Yeah, I mean it's 10 feet,
Or
so
be
the
my
wall
full thing.
wall will take you 20.
Okay, I'm gonna go up the wall.
Okay. So you pull yourself up, taking in the 4 goblin or gobloid hobgoblins.
I still have 10 left then, right? If that took 20.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go up to B and I'm gonna swing on him.
All right.
It's a 7.
So he just mashes your blade away with his shield on his forearm. You hear the chink of his chainmail shirt as he growls at you. Anything else?
That's it.
Karl, you're up on deck as you hear this metal hit wood and growling.
Alrighty, so we got 5 tiles where my marker is. So I still have 5 foot of movement after that. So we're going to move there to get a better bead on our hunter's mark recipient. What the? Where did I go just now?
You climbed the tree.
It's been easier to do shift move. Shift and
Yeah.
click yourself. Most of my other Saturday campaign does the little measurement to figure out where they can go, either with the dome or the line, and then they shift click to basically there, which the dome makes it nice for if you're doing it in a straight line. Or WASD, you move your guy around.
Shift WASD.
Yeah.
I believe about where I was thinking. Yeah, okay. I think the expectation is that I would have enough movement to get a clean shot of the cap and then duck behind another tree. So I think that's where I'm at now.
Okay. I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to take another shot of the cap because, I mean, he's hunter's marked, so why not?
Shoota!
Rolled a 19.
Son of a bitch, that hits.
8 damage plus. Shit. 1. So, okay, it's going to do 9 damage to him, and then we'll duck behind the tree. And then that's all my turn.
He's got several arrows stuck in him now as he spins around yet once again. Curses something in Goblin about where your mother was born, and Tyee, it is your turn. Vinny, you're on deck.
Is the purple robed hobgoblin the hobgoblin captain?
Yes.
If you hit tab, you should see the labels.
Yeah, it's not helpful because the names are misplaced.
Oh, that's
I'm
weird.
gonna send a guiding bolt at him.
Okay. It's
26.
positive you were within range.
10 damage.
26 to hit.
Jesus Christ. This radiant bolt streaks across from the third wagon, smashing into him. It staggers him. He looks completely dazed and out of it, and he is now glowing brightly as your radiant energy wreaths around him. Anything else you'd like to do?
Nope.
Vinny, you are up.
All right, I'm going to move closer. So let me go. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I've been getting closer. I'm just yelling at him. I warned you to run. You're going to die if you don't. But Dishonor to all 4 of you. And I cast Bane at 2nd level so I could get all 4. And they all have to make a charisma saving throw of 12.
Okay. So I'll do A, B, and C. Charisma check. A fails. B passes, and C passes. And then the captain. He passes. So
All right.
B fails.
So that's the only one that's Bane then.
Okay. Anything else?
I can't really hide, so that's kind of it. My movement and my action.
Okay. He is going to chunk a javelin at you and yell, "Traitor!" Vinny, that is a 14 to hit.
Nope. Block it.
Fuck. All right. Goblin A is going to swing with his longsword on Talgar. He clanks against his armor, doing absolutely nothing. Goblin B is going to shoot at Azam. And he rolls at 19 and hits as Azam takes a... Oh, he has Bane.
I was gonna say Bane, yeah, right. D4, it's a 4 minus, right?
Yep, D4 and subtract from the attack roll.
It subtracts 1 from it, which is not enough to save Azam, as Azam takes an arrow
Cutting
to the shoulder.
words. I use cutting words.
what
I
does that
use an inspiration. Cutting words on him. It's like, well, it's your funeral. You're gonna die. And cutting words, I get to roll. And I'm sorry, I gotta. There it is. I get to roll one of my inspiration die, which is a D6.
Okay.
And that takes 6 off of his attack roll.
Then the shot goes wide and hits the seat of the wagon, where Talgar had been seated just a little while ago. C, seeing this new threat approach, will shoot at Vinny with his longbow. And he rolls an 8, which misses harmlessly as he's panicked. Vesmir, you're up. Talgar, you're on deck.
Vesmir pops up onto the carriage so he can see, and he casts Magnify Gravity at 3rd level, which runs in a 10-foot radius, and gets these 3. They all need to make a Constitution saving throw. DC 14.
A fails. B fails. C fails. Holy shit, I just rolled 5, 6, 7.
Oh no!
They all take 3d8 force damage for 13 points.
How do you want to do it with 3 of them?
I like almost Event Horizon them and just pull them in together, and they just smash into bits against each other and just collapse.
This horrifying crunch and crinkle of chainmail and flesh digging into each other in the central point, just as like almost like a singularity forms of
goblin filth as all three of them are pulled to this gravitational well that has opened up on the cliffside here. The hobgoblin looking on at this sight in absolute abject horror as his compatriots are ground into a pulp by forces unseen. Talgar, you're up as you watch this goblin just get like pulled away from you. He tries to scramble and dig in with his claws as he's just stuck backwards into this microcosm of just absolute carnage.
I just stand there with my mouth open, and then I close it and I point at the captain and just point at him and be like, "You're next."
Okay. Does that consist of your whole turn?
A dodge.
Then I'm gonna go at him. I think I can reach him.
Keep in mind that there is how long does that singularity or that gravity will last?
Oh no, that was just flavor. It's just a one turn. They would have suffered to movement.
Okay.
Speed, but
Okay, so in that case, it is dissipated. Then it's not an area effect that stays up.
it's just one round.
Okay. In that case, Talgar, you're free to walk by the goblin.
All right, I'm gonna swing on him.
Okay, you need to make sure that you actually get to the goblin. So.
Okay.
All right, so you're swinging.
Yep, dirty 20.
That hits.
You have advantage. You want to go for the real
Because he
20.
is glowing.
Yeah.
Because he's actually glowing. So yeah, roll
Yeah,
again
I'll
just
try
in
it
case
again.
you get a real 20. Yeah. Good point, Tyee.
Nope, that was an 8.
What's the opposite of a blue falcon?
A red falcon.
It's got to be like green or something.
Being
So
a good party member.
It's 13.
13 damage. He has 2 HP, so you absolutely eviscerate him. And there's now a dismembered hobgoblin in front of you, as well as just that pit of gruesomeness behind you. And we are out of combat. Alright, so we return to the adventurers as you continue to make your way north, having dispatched the hobgoblins. And go ahead.
Sorry. First off, and of course this would have happened along the way anyway, I want to do, holy shit, 10 points of healing to Mindleak.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was max healing. So that's the first thing. Second thing, was there any loot to be found on the goblin bodies?
The captain was holding a greatsword on him. It is rusted, got a few chips out of it, doesn't look to be of much value. He has some half plate, but it is kind of dented. There's now a couple arrow holes in it, and it's just, it's a little bit smaller size than normal. Unfortunately, the loot from the other goblins was kind of bent and mangled into a just nasty mess, and there is no loot for the others.
Okay, I want to convince Azam to let me carry one of the hobgoblins in the wagon with me.
He looks at you. Why on earth would I let you do that?
Well, we'll keep it. We'll keep them wrapped up, kind of partially wrapped up, so it doesn't, infect the other stuff. But for two reasons. One, if any other hobgoblins come, we could show them, look, this is what's going to happen to you if you try this again. But the other thing is, if there are those pseudo dragons, we might be able to use this body to stave them off. As an idea.
He shakes his head and says, absolutely not.
All right.
Vincent, that is a bit much. Just dump that thing over the edge. Let's get going.
Well, then I'll write a note on the at least leave a note with the bodies that say, "Don't attack caravans, or this will happen to you."
All right. So
And
you leave the
then-
note behind.
Yep. And that's it.
Mount up and continue north. The journey goes on for several weeks as you pass Tribor and a few other towns, Long Saddle, as you continue to wind your way north on the old road. For the most part, it's uneventful. You dispatch a few creatures here and there. Nothing that even poses a remote threat for the combat prowess of the group. As you approach the crossroads, doop-a-doop-a-doop. As you approach Mirabar and the Lurkwood, over the horizon you see the small village of Oakhurst. And we can actually switch over to the Oakhurst board.
We passed Tribor?
Yes, you did.
Were they selling Valen cola there?
Yes, they were.
Nice.
out of an old rundown apothecary that has quite the expansion built onto the back.
Ooh.
Oh god, it's huge.
That's what she said.
God damn it, I was about to say that.
Oh man, that was such a fucking softball.
That's what she said.
These are horrible. So, as you make your way to Oakhurst, Azam spends the day after setting up the wagons, hawking some wares, making some trades, leaving you to explore the small hamlet here of Oakhurst. It's a small farming community. It is on the main road, so there's a decent amount of trade that passes by. It's well protected and within the Lord's Alliance in regards to kind of the regional government that oversees these districts. The Lurkwood Forest stretches out to the northwest. I'm sorry, northeast from you. And Mirabar is to the north, not too many days travel from here. Azam, with a heavy sigh, says that he would like to discuss a few matters in the tavern here. At the close of the evening, or close of the adventuring and selling day.
Usually the way.
Yeah. Well, that gives us time. Is there a weapon shop nearby?
Oh, I believe he wants to speak now.
Well, I thought he said end of day after shopping.
Yeah, basically the day is like, gone. We can do some shopping here in a little bit.
Okay.
If that's what you need to do. And so Azam ushers you into the tavern and offers to buy you a round of drinks, which is an unusual move for Azam. Normally he leaves everyone to kind of purchase their own drinks, and he has kind of a long look on his face.
Damn it.
As he asks you to sit around the table and have a drink or two with him. Everybody inside.
This is a little unusual for you, Azam.
It's a hard conversation that needs to be had. He looks around the table at all the faces that he's come to know and trust. He says that you've served him extremely well, more than he could have asked for, and one of the few crews that knew to kind of keep their nose out of others' businesses and focus on the job at hand. He has been extremely impressed and thanks you profusely for your service. As he kind of beats around the bush with this long kind of thank you and explanation and stuff, he finally gets to the point of the conversation as he explains that although trade has been good along the way, that he just really can't afford to keep you on. As we approach Luskin, the roads are less dangerous, and he thinks he can get kind of the rest of the way, but he unfortunately will not be able to continue on with your service.
Well, that's unfortunate to hear.
He stresses that this has nothing to do with your performance, just that now that we've crossed the desert and made the majority of the journey to Luskin, he just business is business. It's not personal.
Understood.
But he does have
what
your.
is our pay? Yes.
So, as agreed, to get me to Oakhurst safely, we agreed. I believe it was at 35. That was what y'all talked him up to.
Yes.
35 gold, and he said he's thrown an extra 5 in there, just for good measure and to try to put a good foot forward. Beyond
Is that
that,
40 total then?
yeah, it's 40 total.
Okay, thank you.
Beyond that, he's more than happy to make a few inquiries. He actually knows of a old friend of his, well, more of a business acquaintance, that has done some work for him. He has procured a few relics here and there, and he knows he's looking for a group of adventurers. That he has some type of task at hand that he could use some help with.
Is there coin involved?
Knowing Lord Baron Althon, I do believe there will be plenty of coin involved.
It wouldn't even be worth mentioning if there wasn't.
Gotta ask.
Did you really? It's kind of a ridiculous question, don't you think? It's work.
He believes that based on what he's seen from the party, as he kind of looks around at the group, that you lot very well might fit the bill of what he's looking for. He thanks you again and says that he'll gonna go ahead and make some inquiries and send word, and that if you're interested, he'll arrange a meeting.
Yes, that sounds like it's a good idea. Well, please arrange the meeting. I'd love to meet this Baron.
Okay. So again, Azam thanks you, parts ways. Says that he'll make arrangements and that you should expect to hear word shortly. The gentleman's name is Lord Baron Althon. He's part of the he was a former Lord Protector for this province. Now he oversees kind of the several small hamlets to the north on the spine of the world, east of Mirabar.
Azam,
So
it's I appreciate you taking me in, letting me be a part of this group, giving me a chance. I appreciate all that you've done. And you know, I think you would make a really good bard. You know why? Because you have amazing scales. And I cast Hideous Laughter on him.
Oh my god. Azam rolls a 17.
Oh, well, he passes, but it's still trying to, like a farewell for him.
He does chuckle and laugh at the absurdity of it. And he looks at you, Vinny, and says that never change, and moves off as he kind of says his goodbyes. So leaving the party to finish your drinks and tell me what you'd like to do in the meantime of waiting.
I'll look at the rest of the guys and suppose we should go look at this Baron Althon now.
Are we still together? Because we were just hired by him. I didn't know, I mean...
If you guys want to go your way, I'm after the coin.
I mean, I don't plan on leaving you guys. I didn't think you'd dump us so fast.
Business is business.
But yeah, if y'all stick together, I wouldn't mind tagging along.
Well,
You're good for a laugh.
I've grown
Just-
quite accustomed to this group.
you all seems like very adequate individuals, and it is good to have people you can rely on should things get complicated, in goblins and sorts that are hostile, unlike yourself, Vinny.
Yeah, I'm hoping to change that someday. But hey, I haven't made you fart in a while, so,
And that has been appreciated.
Yeah, well,
So
we'll see where the stars bring us, but there's no guarantees.
All right.
Indeed.
So, word makes it back to you from one of the wagon drivers before Azam heads out that Baron Althon has agreed to meet you here. He should be arriving within a day or two, and we'll discuss further details of that. The wagon drivers and Azam wish you farewell as they head out of town, and you spend the next couple days here in Oakhurst, exploring the town, eating your fair share of roasted meats and food, and stocking up on provisions, drinking plenty of golden ale. Is there anything anybody needs to do? I assume there wasn't going to be any shopping.
Narration's
looking
sake,
to-
I'm just going to buy a group of bolts, crossbow bolts.
Okay. All right, yeah, just take the gold cost off of out of D&D Beyond.
How many in a group?
20.
20. Okay, and a gold. Got it.
All right. So, fast forwarding at the end of day 2 of after Azam has headed off. As you're drinking kind of your evening meal, an individual arrives through the door of the tavern. He's a tall man with a kind of a striking bearing, chest a little puffed out, wearing finery that seems out of place for this establishment. He has a cloak or a cape that's kind of drifting off his back as he kind of scans the room before his eyes fall upon you, and makes his approach. As he gets to the table, he kind of nods his head and says, "Friends of Azam."
And you are?
Hey,
Lord. I am Lord Baron Alphon. I am to understand that you are adventurers for hire.
Yes, this is correct.
So he kind of looks around and then pulls up an empty chair and sits down, kind of adjusting his cape and whatnot around the chair. He says, "Azam speaks highly of your skills with the blade, the bow, and arcane abilities. I have a particular task that needs to be accomplished. More of an investigation than anything else. But with the promise of riches at the end."
I would like to
Sure.
insight
What's
check
great.
this.
What exactly are you looking for? Whether he's telling the
Just,
truth?
yeah, deception. If he's on the up and up, or if he's hiding anything.
Okay. Roll insight.
Never mind. Natural 1.
He seems to be forthright. Doesn't seem to be lying or anything as he begins to kind of describe the situation. He asks the party, "What do you know about ancient weapons of dwarven make? Anything?"
what do I know about ancient weapons of dwarven make? Since I'm a reader,
I'm not even gonna have you roll for it. But the party would basically know that dwarven weapons, in particular, if of the right era and make, can be quite valuable. There are a lot of dwarven weapons that find their way into different collectors' items, depending on the smith that would have made it. He kind of describes that there's a particular dwarven smith who made a legendary cache of weapons that were lost to times in the ebb and flow of the dwarven empires. But recently, as he takes out a small package wrapped in black cloth, as he kind of looks around the room to make sure not too many prying eyes are looking upon, unfurls it and sees that and you see that there's a broken blade of exceptional make. Even you can tell it's just kind of an older style sword, but the gleam from the broken blade is still very bright. you can see just by looking at it it's extremely sharp. He explains that that this was a weapon, or a broken piece of a weapon, that was smithed by the legendary Durgadin, which was a dwarven smith from over an era long gone by. This particular weapon was found near a rocky hill called the Stone Tooth. I'm looking for a party of adventurers to explore the area and determine whether there are more of these weapons, and I will reward you heftily for information or any of the blades that are able to be recovered. I'm willing to pay 20 gold pieces to each of you just for bringing back information about the location of these blades, or if you're able to provide some detailed maps, I would be more than happy to pay an additional 100 gold for the map.
It was found near with the what? What was the landmark?
Near a stony outcropping called the Stone Tooth.
So, you say that you're looking for the information on the cache, you say. How many blades do you think that there are altogether?
It is unknown. There's only been a handful of them ever seen before. Those are locked away in private collections. But if I could get my hands on some of these, I would be most pleased and could find buyers, and, well, it would help sway some influence with a few people I know.
And what has stopped you from doing this before?
I've hired other parties of adventurers, and none have been successful.
Could you define that a little bit more? Haven't been successful as in they're dead? Haven't been successful as in they sucked?
They never returned, so I assumed that something bad befell them. Or they came up empty and decided not to return.
Can I do an insight check on him regarding if he has any idea as to how many blades might actually exist and whether he's just being coy about it?
Sure.
14.
You get no indication that he's lying. He generally does not know the size of the cache.
Thank you.
So, it sounds like you're interested in dwarven history and artifacts and stuff?
Well, of these weapons in particular.
Do you know a lot about dwarven history?
A little bit here and there. I know that the dwarves were pushed out of this area about 100 years ago. That there was a settlement somewhere here that housed Durgadin in his forge, but that has been lost to time. The fact that this broken weapon was recovered near the Stone Tooth leads me to believe that there's possibly remnants of the complex, or maybe this is where he stashed these weapons so that they would not fall into enemy hands.
Vinny pulls out 5 gold coins and kind of puts them on the table. Do these have any interest to you? And they are the 5 that were given to him they were old coins with the dwarf image that we collected at the apartment.
Yeah, he picks one up and kind of looks it over, looking at the visage on it, and says that he's not familiar with this particular clan. It's dwarven, it's old, probably worth something. Though I don't collect coins. He sets the coins back down.
All right, just checking, and he pockets them back, separate from his other gold coins.
Karl would like to make a perception check at his hands. Do they look like the hands of a craftsman or the soft hands of a scholar?
I won't have you roll for it. They do look to be the soft hands of a scholar. If you really wanted to roll the dice, then yes, you see that he has soft, uncalloused hands.
Oh, look, you don't have the hands of a smith. What is your interest in dwarven weapons?
Honestly, I'm just fascinated. And frankly, I know people that would pay good coin for this, whether that goes into private collection or a gift here and there to persuade and advance my rank and status.
The coin is good. The coin is good.
One last thing, and this I think this will help us, and this will especially help me. One thing that might help us, I don't know if you happen to have any kind of, since you're scholarly, and I've read a few books myself. If you have anything, books on dwarven runes that'll help us decipher any clues we might come across.
He shakes his head and says, "No, I unfortunately don't read dwarf. I've tried to pick it up here and there, but it's never stuck."
Darn. All right, just
I'm
checking.
more versed in dwarven smiths and kind of weapon craft and whatnot. That's been my passion, a hobby, if you will. So, do you agree to take up this quest, this charge?
I got nothing better.
Sure.
Where would
Sure.
you have us start?
Well, I can draw you a small map to a small town called Blassendale. It's about 30 miles away from Stone Tooth, a mere few days' travel on foot. I know they've been having some troubles of their own up there, and I'm sure you could pick up additional work when you arrive.
Well, all right. Sorry, I keep asking questions. If we do find information, you came to this tavern, so how do we contact you? How do we find you again?
The mayor of Blassendale has ways to contact me. When you fulfill if you fulfill the quest, then contact him, and he'll put you in touch with me.
I appreciate it.
And if there's nothing more, gentlemen, as he stands and kind of adjusts his cloak.
This seems to be adequate. When will this map be available?
He takes out a small parchment and he quickly kind of draws in charcoal some quick directions. It looks like a path that the road leads north a little bit and then cuts kind of into the Lurkwood forest before cutting across and heading northeast of the forest, and northeast of the forest and to the east of Mirabar, tucked into a small valley right up against the mountains that make up the spine of the world. He says that it shouldn't take you but a few days to arrive from here if you make good speed.
There doesn't seem to be much good dithering about then.
Oh, he hands over the map and turns and strides out of the bar. So, adventurers, you have a map in hand, a quest at hand. Where would you like to go?
What time of day is it?
It's the evening of the second day here, so you could long rest and get a start off in the morning.
Yeah, let's do it.
You know, guys.
So if you do have any expended spells or anything like that, you can go ahead and just roll a long rest, get everything reset.
You know, guys, it's the evening here on the second day, so we can get a rest, and then tomorrow, let's get our alpha on, shall we?
Just go to sleep, Vinny.
He curls up in the corner of the bar then.
All right. So the evening passes uneventful as you rise the next morning to the smells of breakfast being cooked in the tavern that you've called home for the last 3 nights. Or 2 nights? Yeah, 3 nights, whatever. You pick up sticks and begin following the map as you leave the road and head into the Liquid Forest. Tall trees on either side. It's summer, but there is still a little bit of a crispness to the air whenever the wind and breeze blows from the north, sweeping across the mountain range. It's a nice, tranquil journey as you move through the Liquid Forest. After a couple days pass, you look to the map, and based on how much ground you've covered and so forth at this point, you anticipate arriving sometime this particular day. Around noon, I need the scout to roll me a perception.
Hey, that's me. Probably. I mean, I don't think anybody else wants to be the scout.
I'll do it this time.
All right, go. Yeah,
It's
go
that
for
one.
That one,
Are you serious?
How does that interact with my passive perception?
You know what? What is your passive perception? 22?
22.
I will roll it, find out. Just in case I roll that fucking 20.
And
I love that you rolled on that one.
Vinny's just distracting him with his rant on.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
I like it.
So, you hear the crashing of bushes up ahead as neither party is paying very good attention, but you hear it first. Give me. Just a moment to bring out the characters. We are going to be on Forest Narrows. And you can adjust yourself as to whatever marching order she would have been in.
Are we heading west or east?
Oh, the map's not even...
Not relevant?
you're-
Okay.
You're heading...
In the direction we're facing.
You're heading east.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Yeah, but I just dragged you on the map. I don't know what direction. You're actually heading east, so probably
East will
turn
be.
around.
Yep, this way.
Yeah, I just need to now get to the correct encounter here.
We could even say Tyee was running point and I was running tail.
Yeah, however you want to.
I mean, it makes sense. The two of us are the most perceptive.
Oh my fucking god! As you see, 5 orcs crash through the bushes. They look to have been on patrol.
Did they
not
roll a
paying-
nat 1 on their stealth? I kind of want to know.
Yes, they rolled a nat 1. So both parties kind of crash out of the things, Tyee getting the drop on them and seeing it and able to either shout out or do something prior to both parties looking up and seeing each other.
Raw.
Oh, hey there! We're just passing through too.
Have these done. So everybody roll initiative.
Vinny with his 19.
Vinny is a 19. Vesmir,
16.
16. Talgar,
14.
14. Tyee,
21.
21, and Karl.
Nat 20 for a 26.
Okay. Well, Karl, you're up. Tyee, you're on deck. Tyee, did you want to do anything when you see these guys like come crashing out of the brush there, seemingly unaware of your presence?
Are you asking if I want to take an extra special round?
Yes, you may do so. You can either take basically you can take an action.
I can take an action?
Yeah, and
Okay.
a free action, like if you wanted to, like, yell as well or something.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So, as an action, I'm going to...
Fucking here comes the sun.
Yep.
God damn it. I'm gonna start clustering all my guys like good 10, 15 feet apart.
All right. In a panicked move, I'm going to just quickly swipe from the sky down. I'm going to bring a moonbeam down on top of these two orcs right here.
Okay.
And while, as kind of a panicked reaction as well, my robes are going to light up into the form of the archer.
Okay.
And in kind of another panicked move, my other hand is going to kind of just fling out towards the orc that's closest to us. That is Orc Warrior A with a archer bolt.
And this is all part of an action?
Oh, it's a bonus action. Sorry.
Okay, so you only get the action, and then we kick off
Okay.
initiative rounds.
All right, disregard. So
Okay,
the action would be the moonbeam, and that's
Okay.
it. There's no
Fantastic.
robe
So
or anything yet.
The moonbeam shimmers down from out of nowhere. Karl, you see this as Tyee tenses and then just clutches at the sky, bringing a hand down in anger. What would you like to do?
All right. First, we're mutter under our breath. Shit. Seeing the Orc A silhouetted by the moonbeam, we're going to bonus action Hunter's Mark him. And then we're going to start doing our typical Dread Ambusher dance of 2 attack rolls.
All right.
First shot's a 23.
Yeah, that's going to hit.
Second shot's a 17.
That's going to hit as well.
All right, now we got 2d8 plus 2d6 plus 3.
I wish you could save custom dice, like rolls in D&D Beyond.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
That would be 18 damage
Against Orc A.
against Orc A, and then we're going to spend some movement to duck behind the rocks, and then we're done.
So Orc A just like takes like both of these shots, staggers forward like another half step, and just like clutches at these arrows as he falls to his face onto the ground, no longer moving. Anything else? You're hiding?
I'm hiding. Well, not
Right.
technically hiding, but just, yeah.
Right,
I'm
right.
behind cover.
Tyee, you're up. Vinny, you're next.
Yep. So I'm going to activate my robes, the archer, and I'm going to fling a bolt at Orc Warrior D.
Okay.
That'll be a 26. Does a 26 hit?
Yeah, 26 gonna hit.
All right.
Squarely.
That'll do 6 radiant damage.
All right, against D.
Yeah, against duh.
Duh. All right.
And I'm going to move my happy little body right there.
Okay. Vinny, you are up. Vesmir, you're on deck.
I'm right next to Talgar, so I'll put my hand on Talgar and the other hand on myself, and I say, we got this. And I cast heroism on us. You're immune to being frightened, and every round you gain 2 temporary hit points. Up to a max of 10, I think. And then, as my movement, I kind of go off on the side, and bonus action, I try to hide.
All right, roll me your stealth.
My stealth. Oh, crow. Hold on.
You feel very stealthy as you crouch behind a rock.
My stealth is 9.
Oh, okay.
I'm using a
You still
shield,
feel very stealthy.
so I'm disadvantaged.
All right, Vesmir, you're up. Talgar, you're on deck.
Okay. Just at a glance, without like any investigation, do they look like they've got ranged weapons?
You do see them kind of fumbling to pull javelins from their quivers.
Okay, right. I will bonus action cast Misty Step.
Okay.
Get me about 30 feet here. And I will, at a centered point, cast... yeah, that will do. I will again cast Magnified Gravity, but I'll do it at first level.
Okay, so what's my con, or my DC?
DC 14, Constitution.
Of Constitution. Alright. Orc Orc B fails. C passes. D fails. And E fails.
They take 4 points of force damage. And then I use my 30 feet of movement to go back into the trees.
Okay.
And
Talgar, you are up.
All right. I am going to move and dash as far as I can.
If you dash, you won't be able to dodge.
I know.
Okay.
Talgar gives no fucks.
Damn ball keeps moving around. He's jumping between 5.6 tiles and 7.
You're touching the monsters, I think it was what making it. So what are you trying to do?
Well, I want to cast. Hold on, what's it called? Compelled Duel.
Is it
It's
a bonus
30-foot
action?
range. Yes,
Okay.
but it's a 30-foot range. And I wanted to try to do it on the one in the back, but I think I'm just barely out of that range.
Yeah, the one in the back is out of your range. But the other
Okay,
three are in your range.
I'm gonna cast Compelled Duel on D.
Okay, and what's the save?
It is a Wisdom save of 12.
He rolled an 11.
He is drawn to me, compelled by my divine demand. For the duration, which is 1 minute, has disadvantage to attack rolls against creatures other than you, and must make a Wiz saving throw each time it attempts to move to a space that is more than 30 feet from you.
All right. So that has happened.
That's
Locks
my
eyes
turn.
with you, rages and yells. As the orcs begin their turn, Tyee, I believe I have to make a Constitution check, or is it a Dexterity save?
It is a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, so Orc B and C. That is a 10 and a 16.
The 10 fails, the 16 passes.
Okay, so how much damage?
Rolling for the 10, that's 19. Rolling for the 16.
Oof.
Do you want me to roll twice, one for each, or just one roll?
It's just one roll.
Okay, so the 19 then. That was the
Okay.
first one.
And then the other one does 8 points of damage because it's half, or does it not do any?
It is half.
Oh, shit. All right. So, Orc B fries under the onslaught of this radiant moonbeam damage, and he falls to a smoking heap on the ground. The second one screams and is going to get out of this as quickly as possible.
Just
on that spell, the ones that failed the DC con save on gravity have half speed for this round.
The one that failed is dead.
Cool.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. He will race forward, looking charred, crispy. He's like the skin is like peeled back and smoking, but he will swing with his great axe on Talgar, and he rolls a 23.
That's gonna hit.
For 4 damage with his fucking great axe.
Ow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The second one that you have compelled duel will come running forward. He's not looking quite as hurt, but still pretty fucked up. Oh, sure, I've got that right. Wait, sorry. You did that on D then.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, because you can reach one in the back. So he does look pretty fucked up, and he runs forward as well, and he's going to swing his great axe at you. And he's going to roll a 17.
Miss.
So it scrapes off your armor. So those 2 have gone. And E sees this violent thing in front. He is going to... Man, there's this... Nobody fucking visible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he will throw a javelin at Talgar. And he rolls an 18. Does an 18 hit Talgar?
No, sir. Sorry.
All right, so that one misses as well. Karl, you're up. Tyee, you're on deck.
Alrighty. Because, we can do this sort of thing. We're going to dodge, duck, dip, dive, dodge. Spin a little movement to come out, and we're going to take aim. Which between C and D looks the most hurt?
They
E.
both look extremely fucked up. E does not look that hurt.
Right. But C and D look pretty hurt.
Yes. They're bleeding profusely. One of them's smoking.
All right, we're going to shoot Orc. Okay, so first off, with a bonus action, because our Hunter's Mark target died, we're going to put our Hunter's Mark on D, as in dog, and we're going to shoot him.
Okay.
25.
Get all your hot rolls out now. That one hits. As your arrow finds its home, he gurgles for a moment and then falls forward dead.
Excellent. And then
I was
we'll
gonna say that
throw-
ends a spell, but that doesn't matter now.
Nope. We're going to take the rest of our movement to duck back behind the rock, and then we're done.
Okay. Tyee, you're up. Vinny, you're on deck.
I am going to move the moonbeam, and it is now going to.
Yeah, okay, it's on that guy. He's gonna try to
Oh my
scamper
God.
away, and the moonbeam's just gonna chase after him faster than he
That
can
poor
move.
guy is just gonna. He's just gonna get it, but the shitty thing. Hold on, yeah, he's gonna get that, but then Orc Warrior C is gonna get an archery bolt as well.
Okay.
Does a 25 hit?
Yeah, 25 hits. Come on, get them all out. Get all these hot rolls out.
That's 8 radiant damage.
It's this glowing like bolt of light streaks over your shoulder, Talgar, and hits him squarely, knocking him back. That was the one that was in front of Talgar, right?
Yeah. You know what? Hold on. Yeah, we're fine.
All right, so it actually knocks that one back as he just crumples into the dirt. He's now smoking, but his corpse is no longer making any types of movement. As your moonbeam chases down Orc E. Unless you have anything else, Vinny, you're up. Vesmir,
That's it,
you're
yeah.
on deck if it's needed.
Vinny's gonna move on up his 30 movement and go, "Yay, shooting buddies!" And he'll shoot a crossbow bolt at the Orc Warrior E.
Okay.
And that's gonna
That's the only-
be.
It's the only one still up.
Oh, come on!
It misses.
It was on an 18, and it slowly moved to a 5.
He's not even aware that you're shooting at him. He's just trying to claw his way out of this like moonbeam, and your arrow or your bolt just barely misses. Anything else?
I just wave my arms. Yay! This is fun. I don't know why I said
All right,
that.
Vesmir, you're up.
Vesmir moves out to the. Yeah, about there, and he'll cast Ray of Frost.
Okay.
That is a 15 to hit.
15 hits. As your ray of frost hits his hide armor.
5 points of frost damage. Cold damage.
You see this like frost expanding across his chest. It looks quite painful. The creature looks bloodied at this point.
And Vesmir uses the rest of his movement to get back down into the trees.
Talgar, you see this orc bathed in moonlight.
I'm gonna move towards him, but I'm not gonna get into that fucking beam.
Which will put you basically 1 square away from him.
From a ways back behind you, you hear, "Oh, come on!"
Yeah.
But since
You
I
just
can't,
watched it like fry multiple people. Like,
yeah, I'm not touching that again. But since I'm out of range with my longsword, I'm gonna chunk a javelin at him.
okay.
It's fucking 8.
Yeah, it misses and hits the ground next to him.
I just kind of slump over. Damn it.
All right. As he makes his Constitution saving throw, he rolls an 18.
He takes 7 points of damage.
He has 6 HP.
Hooray!
The creature just like slumps, like screaming in like orcish pain as the moon just radiant image just cooks him. There are 5 orc carcasses on the ground in front of you.
I want to check him.
Okay.
I'm just gonna kind of like slowly, sadly walk over and pick up my javelin.
You find a handful of javelins made by orc hands. You can pick up. They're basically they're as many as you want. There was up to 15 of them. And they didn't get to use any of them. They all have rusted, chipped, kind of crudely made great axes. Beyond that, their tattered hide armors wouldn't offer really anything, even in scraps. Tyee, roll me a 1d4.
Okay. A 4.
Okay. Roll me a d12. Tell me what you get.
A 12.
So you in the looting of the body, one of the hide armors looks to have maintained its wholeness and is lootable. It looks to be stitched together pelts of different animals, and has a hood that looks to be made from a wolf's head. Kind of hangs down over the forehead, but it is lootable.
Okay. I'll just kind of carefully put that into my satchel.
Okay. Doesn't smell the greatest, but it looks kind of cool. Has a kind of unique aesthetic to it.
I'm gonna belay that for real quick, and I'm gonna kind of. Vesmir, I understand that your kind, you can identify things like this, yes?
It is within the realm of my possibilities, yes.
Oh, this is very good. Would you mind doing this for me? I might even throw in some coin for you.
That is not necessary. We'll see what this is, and it takes 10 minutes to ritual cast Identify.
So you reach out with your arcane abilities, looking for deeper powers or things unseen. You don't really get anything back, and it looks to just be standard hide armor, made from stitched together wolf hides, and kind of the hood is made from the animal's the wolf's head. So it's kind of like, you know, the upper jaw and stuff kind of like draped over the forehead.
I'm sorry, but this is just ordinary armor. Nothing special about it. I'm sorry.
That's no worries at all. Just into the packet goes.
All right.
Why does
Anything
everything
else
have to
before we-
attack us? Can't we just find friends?
You'll have to learn the spell.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can actually. I don't know if it'll let me, or if it's a druid spell.
Find friends.
Oh, I thought you were about identify. Shit.
No, it's commenting on friends.
Oh fuck, no. I definitely don't think that one's a druid spell.
So it isn't long before you continue down the path, having dispelled the patrol of orcs that stumbled upon you quite easily, without expending yourself too much. As you make your way into the valley, following the map that was given to you by Lord Alphon, you come to a small hamlet nestled in the valley. You've passed a few farms on the way in, but now you see kind of a clustering of buildings that make up the small town of Blassendale. And we can actually switch to the Blassendale map.
I really wish the boards were alphabetized.
Board update failed. Unhandled exception.
Does it really cream your corn?
It salts my melon.
Does it really?
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
He really has the best euphemisms.
It really does.
This map looks like it was done in Minecraft.
Part of my maps.
That's
All right.
if you take that as a negative.
True.
It is. It's Minecraft.
No comment.
I don't know Minecraft.
So it's a small little town. It looks to be of a farming community for the most part. It's kind of nestled and based on the map that was drawn to you by Lord Alphon, Stonetooth, the geological formation you're looking for, looks to be a few days on foot due to the surrounding kind of rugged terrain and dense forest. You're nestled right up against the spine of the world. It's a nice little town, quiet, as you kind of move through the streets and make your way towards the center of town. See, it's, you know, a medium-sized village. There's humans, there's a few half-elves, a couple halflings, a few dwarves. It's a diverse town. As you kind of make your way in, you see one thing that does jump out at you, Tyee, with your kind of massive paths of perception, is that as you're moving through, you don't see any children kind of at play, which you've kind of grown accustomed to coming through some of the other towns on the journey with Azam. As the party kind of makes their way through town as a group, you see some people kind of cross the street to avoid you. There's a lot of eyes being cast at Talgar. Any children that you do see seem to be accompanied by an adult close by.
This town seems to be very cagey. They especially don't seem to like you, Talgar.
I'll do like a Gandalf and do like prestidigitation, do like butterflies that sparkle into little fireworks. For the
Some of the
kids.
kids kind of look over and stuff, but they're quickly ushered away by parents and people kind of giving you a wide berth.
I try to smile and look friendly and unintimidating.
Can you roll for
Roll a deception check.
All right. All right.
Vinny yells, "Where the white women at?" No, I'm
It's
I'm
18.
kidding.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm kidding.
Where the white women at?
Christ.
So a few people kind of look a little standoffish, but kind of nod to you, at least acknowledge you as you pass by. As you kind of wind your way through town. You pass by some type of general store. As you make your way into the center of town, you can see a considerable amount of different goods. There's a sign above the door that says Tom Superior Outfitting and Dry Goods. A few doors down from there, you see another a shop that looks to be selling armor, weapons, and a few other kind of outfitting gear that's more geared towards the adventurer. You see in the center of town is a rather large building. It has a sign over it that says the Griffin's Nest Inn and Tavern. And up at the other end of the town, you see a small chapel, a small temple. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of other features. There's a kind of a large house towards one end of town, and then there's you see at least a couple militia members dressed in kind of a patchwork of armor. Not quite as standardized or as well fitted as some of the other towns that you've been in on your journeys with Azam, but easily to tell that they are militia or serving in some type of official capacity.
What's this building I'm in front of right here?
That's a great question. So I try to find your character. Looks to be some type of a clerk's office. I guess like a speaker's hall type situation.
Gentlemen, I think we should probably find somebody official to see if we can't track down anybody who might know something about this Lord Baron Alphonse quest.
Well, that was the mayor he was directing us to, so we got to find who the mayor is of this town.
It's true. There's
A clerk should know who the mayor is. We should ask.
I'm gonna walk in.
The door is actually open. As it swings open, you see a speckled
Trout.
Bespeckled.
wearing speckled clerk.
Bespeckled.
Speckled, bejeweled clerk behind the counter, moving some papers around. He seems startled as the sudden entry of kind of outsiders. His eyes cast immediately to Talgar and then back to the others as he kind of steps away from the counter. Yes, can I help you?
I'm gonna turn to Talgar real quick. Talgar, would you mind waiting outside for me, please?
Sure.
Hey, buddy. Welcome to guard duty.
Yes. Good day, my friend. We're looking for the mayor. We right here from Oakhurst. Is it Oakhurst? Damn it, where did we come from? Oakhurst. We came from Oakhurst. We are on a quest from the Lord Baron Alphon. We're looking for your mayor. Can you point us in the right direction?
Mayor Barrick is out surveying some damage done to some of the farms on the outskirts of town from one of the more recent orc raids. He should be returning sometime in a few hours. Who should I say is asking for him again?
Well, my name is Tyee Guzman, and this is my friend Vesmir. The gentleman you saw outside is Talgar, There are a couple of other members of our party, and we are on a quest from Lord Baron Alphon. And you should know that we actually came upon some orc raiders and dispatched them on the way here. Is there an orc problem that you have?
He sighs actually, and quite with a sigh of relief, and he says, "Thank God, somebody's answered our prayers. You're here to rid us of the orc menace."
Oh, well, you know, the stars send us where we are most needed oftentimes.
Mayor Barrick will definitely be interested to speak with you. He can go over the details of the bounty and whatnot, but I can't. Finally, somebody's answered our calls.
Yes, you know, here we are.
He says that as soon as Mayor Barrick returns, he will give him the message that you're here in town. He has to get where he could find you. Will you be staying at the inn?
Yeah, that's a pretty safe bet. We will most likely be at the end, if not about town, taking care of business here and there.
Fantastic. As soon as he comes in, I'll let him know, and he'll come and find you.
Thank you, my good man. Very, very, very helpful. I'm gonna flick him a gold coin.
He takes it and puts it in his shirt pocket and thanks you for it, and then he kind of leans forward and kind of looks back out the door and says, "Is the tusk one with you?"
The Tusked one is a good friend of ours, and you should have seen him. He was a real how do you say? He was a real ass kicker out there. He really put down two of the other orcs, the more feral sort, you could say.
Well, if he's gonna help us, then so be it.
Oh yes, he's a big fan of killing orcs.
So he nods and seems to be appeased by this.
Vesmir is looking at this clerk. What does he see? Is this a human? Is this?
He's a human. He's a kind of a spindly-looking guy. He's got spectacles on. His fingers are smudged with ink from working the parchments and recording different records and notes. There looks to be a tax book on the table here that he was working on as y'all came in.
Vesmir removes his hood, revealing dark blue skin with this teal tinge to it, and gives him a stern look and says, "You seem to have a problem with souls that are different. Is this my understanding of your demeanor at this moment?"
I'm going to intervene.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh my goodness. Not everything is just about the color of your skin. It's not really that simple. You know they have had orcs raids. Our friend very clearly looks like an orc. He's a half-orc himself. Make the connection now.
He kind of shakes his head vigorously and says, "Yeah, it's not that we have any issues with those different. We're quite a progressive hamlet here, but orcs can't be trusted."
Vesmir looks to Tyee and gives him a stern look, but an agreeable nod, and then gives a stern look back over to the clerk, and then makes his way out, covering his cloak back over his head.
Okay. So, where would the party like to go now?
So where's the mayor?
Yeah, I think most of us were. It was just Tyee and
Yeah, so y'all are outside. People have been kind of like walking by. They're taking notice of outsiders in the town here, but they're giving kind of you guys a wide berth. A goblin, a half orc, and a shadowy guy that doesn't look all too friendly.
But did y'all find where the mayor was?
The mayor's away on business for the moment. He's checking out some damage that was done on the outskirts of town, but he knows to find us at the inn. And this town seems to have been beset by some orc raids recently. They don't really seem particularly trusting of Talgar here. They don't seem to have a problem with Vinny or the Vedalken here, but
Well, yeah.
they seem very frightened.
If orcs are bothering the town, then they're going to be afraid of anything orc-like. So that makes sense. Did he say how long the mayor's been out?
He said he's been gone for a couple of hours, but it seems like it's just normal business.
All right, as long as the mayor ain't in trouble. if we don't see the mayor by tomorrow, maybe it'd be worth going to where he was and making sure he's all right. Or maybe tonight. I don't know what time of day it is.
It's supposed to. Yeah, it's like mid-afternoon type thing.
I don't see much point in waiting around. Maybe we should head in the direction, and maybe we meet them halfway.
Maybe if there are attacks out and he's surveying damage, we can meet him and make sure he gets home safely. I don't know. He knows this place better than we do, I'm sure.
No, mid-conversation, I'm going to storm back into the clerk's office real quick.
Storm.
Okay.
Wow.
Storm back in. You startle him yet again.
My good man, were there any wounded during this last attack?
Not that I'm aware of. Just a bunch of burnt crops.
Oh, that's good. That's actually almost as worse. Okay. I was good to say that I'm happy to hear it, but I'm actually not. Okay.
Kind of nods.
Oh yes, it's it's a beautiful day. I see no reason why we can't just go survey the area, but I think we must be very careful. I think we should stay tight as a group and not let Talgar be found alone.
Well, we're together anyway, so are we hanging around or are we going the direction where the mayor went?
Now let's go over and survey these farms and see what the damage that these orcs did.
All right. Oh, is it a farm inside of town or outside of town?
It's outside of town, like on the edge, one of the
Oh,
outskirt
okay,
town
okay.
or outskirt farms and stuff.
Yeah, I don't mind. We might get a clue.
The clerk basically said that the mayor would be back in he'd send him over to the tavern to try to find you guys.
That's fair. We were just worried that he was going way out of town and at risk of getting attacked or something.
Give me just a minute. I gotta go pee.
Sure. Well, I should refer this back to the party, but do you think we should survey the scene for ourselves and not understand what we are up for, or should we wait patiently and go to the tavern? Although Talgar, I'm not so sure that you will be welcome, but I would put my best interest forward to make sure that you don't run into any trouble.
We vouch for him. It hadn't had trouble so far. I
Well,
say
does anybody have a disguise kit?
a what?
Sorry, what was
Or does anybody have a disguise kit?
that? I do not.
Yeah, I got one, but
I do too.
do we need it? We want to be honest. There's nothing for him to hide. He's a good guy.
Well, Vincent, it's all not so black and white to say. It's not always so clear. Sometimes
No,
it's
it's
just
green.
about managing. Sometimes it's just about managing expectations.
All right, if that's what everyone wants to do.
Well, it's just not really what everybody wants to do. It's really mostly up to Talgar. He's the one that's going to bear this burden.
Indeed, Tyee, I would happen to agree with you that, you said that this is about the orcs themselves and not necessarily, how did you put it, like a race problem, but I do not feel that hiding one of our own necessarily meets this standard of being reputable, if you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean. We hide all the time to create advantages for ourselves. It's only practical.
That is when we are in hostile environments where clearly we are the hunted. I don't see this as a problem, especially in a town of mere common people.
You've not seen what damage a town of mere common people can do with pitchfork and flame.
But they have not seen what I can do with the arcane power.
Yes, the bluster is all nice, but still.
Very well.
And
I am back.
I have said my piece on the matter, and Talgar, it is in your interests, so please make the decision.
Another option, I could make him invisible while we're in the town.
Is there a limit to this invisibility?
I need to rest, but I can only do it once per day. So if I made him invisible, I would not be able to make myself invisible.
Well, I don't think we have the time to get that rest in before the mayor returns, so I think Talgar, do you want to plan B?
I think I'm just going to be myself and not worry about it, and we'll take care of whatever happens. I don't need to hide who I am to prove I'm not a bad person.
Very good. Let's just get on with it then.
Spoken like a paladin.
Very well, we shall make our way to the tavern, yes?
Yeah, get ourselves settled in.
All right, so you make your way towards the Griffin's Nest Inn and Tavern. I'll move you to the front door here. So you find the tavern is well furnished. It's pretty empty right now. There seems to only be a couple people drinking at a far table. Kind of often to the back. As you enter, there's a small, thin half-elf woman working behind the bar, just kind of cleaning things up and wiping down the bar top. She looks up and acknowledges as you come in and says, "Welcome to the Griffin's Inn, the Griffin's Nest Inn."
Thank you.
Sit anywhere you'd like, and let me get you something to drink.
Yes, a round of ale for my compatriots. I myself will go for some wine if it is available.
Just water for me.
So she kind of takes everybody's order and stuff. As you go to sit down and she takes your order, one of the gentlemen in the back speaks up and is like, "Hey, we don't serve orc kind around here." And before the party can even react, the barmaid says that, "And you'll keep to yourself, Warren. These are guests, and this is my establishment. If you don't want Mayor Barrick to know that you're drinking his tax money down your gullet, I suggest you mind your own business. Please forgive him. This is my establishment, and I'm willing to serve anybody who has coin and doesn't cause trouble."
Vesmir
No worries, thank you.
2 gold across the tavern counter towards it and gives a very reassured nod of appreciation.
Well, thank you. She passes out the mugs of different drink and whatnot and introduces herself. I'm Sarah the Bank Down, and I'm the proprietor of this inn. And who do I have the pleasure of serving?
My name is Vesmir. My compatriots, we have Vinny, we have Tyee, we have Karl, and we have our greenish friend, Talgar. I will let you know that he is not part of the problems that the town seems to be facing, and we will not treat him like a criminal. As you have given us the respect, we greatly appreciate.
Of course. Have you come to trade? Are you here for a purpose? Have you answered the call to help us with the Orc Menace?
Vesmir sort of nods over towards Tyee and my compatriot Tyee is better at talking on such matters. I will leave him with your presence. And Vesmir politely takes the ales and his wine over, leaving one for Tyee at the bar, and takes them over to the table.
Okay.
I want to go over to the guy that yelled at me, and as friendly as possible, if roll persuasion or whatnot, I want to go over to him and extend my hand in friendship and tell him I'm not who he thinks I am.
Oh God, stars guide you. You have guidance.
So roll persuasion.
Carl's
Is
giving a
that, is
very
that with
close-
advantage?
Not with advantage, but you get to add a D4 to the roll.
All right.
Carl will be keeping a very close eye on the situation.
Okay, the 16. How do I roll a cuss? Oh, over here. Hold on. $18.
He looks very standoffish at first, but as you kind of stand there with your hand extended and the words and the glare of Cyril from across the room, he reaches out reluctantly and shakes your hand.
Vinny points to him and says, "And that's the guy that's going to help us rid you of your orc problem."
He kind of raises an eyebrow and kind of gently shakes your hand back. Still kind of standoffish, but a little bit more at ease and relaxed.
I'll nod at him and smile and return to the table.
Talgar, that was very diplomatic of you. Way to stand up for yourself.
Oh, no,
We're not all bad.
He wasn't worth your pity.
I'd rather make friends here than enemies.
To each their own. Carl takes a swig.
It's always good to be.
Go ahead.
It's always good to be polite to others, especially those who might be employers. If for no other reason, then they shall pay us.
Fair enough.
And my good dear barkeep, we are under the employ of Lord Baron Alphonse, and we are here looking for your mayor. I hear his name is Barrack. Is that correct?
Mayor Miles Barrack. He's been our mayor for a while. Although I don't envy his position with what we're facing.
No, certainly must be a struggle. And we are here to help. We are interested in the work, and we also have a quest of our own. But I'll leave that to the mayor and us.
Help couldn't have arrived any time sooner, or at a much more crucial junction.
Oh yes, I understand.
Done a decent amount of damage and burned enough crops that if we're not able to stop their raids, that we may run into the problem of having more mouths than we have supplies to make it through the winter. So the
that's very
situation is
interesting.
quite dire at the moment.
I've made an interesting observation. There doesn't seem to be very many children in this village.
Well, she kind of looks down at the ground for a second, and her shoulders droop a bit.
That's a truly sad story, then, isn't it?
Not since the orc raids began. Children snatched in the night.
Snatched in the night?
Yes, those that were out either towards the end of the day, tending their crops and whatnot, fell quick victim and prey to the orcs, carted away and never seen again.
So I'm gonna kind of turn back to my party. Does this sound like consistent with orc behavior to you? Is anybody familiar with this?
I'm only familiar with dead orcs.
Yes, especially the fried kind, yes?
I'm only half. I'm not familiar with it.
I don't know, does anybody
Interesting.
even speak orc or anything?
I don't.
Well, yeah,
but
I do. Yeah, one of my languages is orc.
You'd know a little bit that one, they'll eat pretty much anything, and two, orcs are known to kidnap, ransom. At times, they're just they'll take advantage of any situation they think they can press the advantage on, and bully and flex with might.
Okay, so it is consistent with their behavior.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's very terrible. But you know what? I feel a certain sense of resolve welling within me. I think this is a problem that it needs some solving, and I think you might see your solution here before you.
Before we promise aid, what sort of coin is in it for us?
No. This young woman is not the mayor, and we haven't promised anything. It's all we might
Fair.
be able to help.
Fair.
How long has this been going on with the orcs? Is it like something happened and they started up, or has it been going on for a long time?
I mean, we live on the frontier here, and it's not an ultra rare occurrence for them to come down from the mountains and try to take advantage. But most of the time, the militia's been able to push them back and deal with them. They know not to come too closely, but recently their numbers have grown, and the attacks have come in more and more frequent. They're growing more bold as they've defeated some of our militia members, and they seem to be bent on destroying, scavenging, and stealing anything that they can get their hands on. But it's been in a real intensity over the last 3-4 months, basically since the snow melt.
As they came down from the spine of the world, I suppose.
It's possible.
Sure.
Honestly, we've not been able to locate their stronghold.
Was there anything else that coincided with their activity? Change in weather, some peculiar findings.
Not anything normal, other than normal. This winter came and went, and as the spring melt occurred, is when the orc raids began and have only increased in intensity. There's been a few adventuring parties that's come by here, but nothing out of the ordinary. There's always somebody wanting to go into the mountains, the spine of the world, looking for this or that, trinkets and baubles of ages gone by.
These adventuring parties, do they ever swing back through town?
Rarely, and those that do, sometimes not all intact.
Do they ever tell you stories of what might have happened to them?
Orcs, tigers, or big cats from the mountains,
Sure.
rocks, other creatures and whatnot. There's many things that dwell in the frontier and in the mountains. But we're on the frontier. It's not an uncommon sight. Although I would say this year is probably more than others. Not the first adventuring party in the last few months to come by.
If we are going to do some good work here, I think it probably should start with a celebration. I'm gonna put 5 gold down on the counter. I would like for you to gather maybe some of the best meats and the finest food that you have, and my friends and I would like to have a meal here. I'll be over here at this table, and you just bring me the best that you can find, please.
Her eyes kind of grow wide at the offering of 5 gold. That'll provide a good feast, and I will get working on that right away.
Oh yes, don't necessarily worry about spending all of that. Some of that can be for you too. It doesn't necessarily need to be tied to the feast. Just make us happy. I think you can do that.
Quite the generous one, huh?
What use is gold, friend? What use is it other than to buy some happiness?
It is an interesting gesture, nonetheless. Not something that Vesmir is sort of taken back and puzzled, seemingly. This is quite generous hospitality.
Well, gold is just a tool, gentlemen. It is just a thing to get you what you want, right? Right now, I feel like a really great meal. I have an overabundance of gold. I have very little to spend it on. So, why not put a little bit towards something that I want a bit? And it might pay dividends as well. This woman is living in a village that is to be shut by orc raid. We are potentially their help and their. I don't want to sound too haughty, but their salvation. So we can come in, we can make a good impression on the whole group. We have Talgar making friends. We have this woman now has this gold and this experience with us. This is how reputations are built.
I'm fine for you to spend your gold for good food that I eat.
Oh, you know what else is it good for? Like I said, it's buying happiness.
Vesmir kind of chuckles at Karl's remark and says, "It is quite good of you to be looking ahead. I have never considered such an angle, and it is quite curious, and I will very happily sit and observe this transaction of yours."
So after a period of time, amazing smells start drifting from the kitchen as Cyril is hard at work in the back trying to prepare you a worthy meal for the offering that you've given her. Before long, a platter comes out of flame-broiled pheasants with fresh garden peas, some wild mushrooms from the forest nearby, fluffy biscuits with several different preserves, and a few jugs of some of her best ale. And she lays it on the table and hopes that it meets your expectations. Out here on the frontier, our supplies are limited, but we have some of the best game, and these are fresh pheasants. The vegetables were grown by herself in her garden, and wild mushrooms were picked recently. She says that she doesn't break out the good ale very often, but for this occasion, she's more than happy to. And if you're able to actually lend the aid and help, stave off the orc menace, then you'll have the gratitude of not just her, but the majority of the town.
Actually, we are looking forward to being of some service. Yes, thank you very much. This is
as y'all tear into it and enjoy the meal, a gentleman wearing dusty leathers and kind of a regal pose appears in the doorway and kind of looks around the room, meets his eyes with Warren, who kind of tries to duck down small in his seat and tip his hat forward a little bit. The man with kind of a booming voice, a human male, booms, "Warren, I see you there. And if you don't go talk to Lyndon the clerk, then I know where to come find you." And then his eyes, kind of fall back to the party. Warren just kind of tries to shrink invisible into his seat. But the gentleman walks over to the table and says, I assume that you are the adventuring party that stopped by my clerk's office earlier today?
That's correct, and you must be?
I am Mayor Miles Barrick.
Oh, very good. Mayor Barrick, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Tyee Guzman, and this is my party. This is, and I point to Cal first.
I'm Karl.
Sorry.
Tyee just names all of his characters Tyee, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
I do.
And then the last names change, but it's always Tyee. Sometimes there's less E's or more E's.
In Eve, I have Tyee 0301 all the way up to Tyee 0325.
That's great.
So he takes his big hand and he removes a dusty leather glove from it. And as you kind of begin to introduce yourself, he shakes each one of your hands. Unlike Lord Althon's hands, these are calloused, hard, and definitely have seen manual labor. He has a firm grip and kind of a strong bearing. He greets and welcomes all of you and says that according to Lyndon, his clerk, that you were here answering the call for the orc menace and in coming to the aid of our town.
Yes, we are interested in your problem. Could you describe it, I suppose, in a little bit more detail for us?
He goes over basically the details that the orc raids have started, much like Cyril's information that she gave you at the end of winter, at the beginning of spring, and have kind of grown in intensity. They've grown more and more brave, lighting fields on fire. They'll come and grab what they can, what's easily carted off, scare off the farmers, and because we're kind of spread out in such an area. And the militia, by the time they respond, the damage has been done. The fields have been lit on fire, and unfortunately, the crops have suffered. Our fall harvest is looking to be mighty meager. We'll be lucky to have enough food to make it through next winter at the rate that things are being burnt down. That's why he's sent out notices, and he takes kind of a rolled parchment that's kind of beaten up out of his pocket and kind of unfurls it, and it's a clearly kind of a help wanted, bounty on orc. And he says, I assume that you saw one of these and decided to rise to the occasion to help a town in need.
Bounty, you say?
I must admit, we should not see that flyer. But your clerk was very helpful. He did inform us almost immediately, without any hesitation, that there was a problem and that they were looking for help. And to your knowledge, we did dispatch 5 orcs on the way in here. They did not put up much of a fight. But at least we believe that this is something that we could definitely help with.
Well, I'm willing to pay for any orc, dead or alive. We caught one not too long ago, and we're able to coerce it into revealing a little bit of location. We know that their outpost is somewhere near Stone Tooth, but we've not been able to pin it down, and unfortunately I can't spare the militia or the guard to go after it. I'm willing to pay per orc. If you can bring me proof of their demise, or bring one captured, I will pay 25 gold a head.
What is sufficient proof? The full head or simply ears?
That's a very good question.
Bring me the right hand of an orc, and I will pay you 25 gold.
Deal.
Beyond that, if you're able to put the menace out for good, I can't offer you much more gold than that, but you'll have the thanks of a town in need.
Which way out of town? Any area they have been more or less active?
He kind of finger draws a map kind of on the table of the kind of the valley where Blasendale sits, kind of the surrounding area, and generally to the northeast seems to be where the orc raids are originating. Although he's heard of orc raids as far south as a couple days. So it's in a wide area, but most recently the northeast direction seems to be where they're coming from. He kind of draws out a little bit and shows you somewhere over here is where Stone Tooth is, and we believe their outpost or their stronghold is somewhere in those foothills or that area. But that's as much as we were able to ascertain from our captive before he perished.
While this conversation's going on, Vesmir is drawing in a journal of his.
Okay.
Oh, I have to ask you an unfortunate or an uncomfortable question, and please forgive me for it, but I need the context before we set off in pursuit. Is there anything that might have provoked the orcs?
The mayor shakes his head back and forth and says, nothing. We tend to stick to ourselves. We're a small farming community. A few people dabble here and there in mining in the foothills, but nothing that has ever drawn the ire of the orcs before. This is something new and something that we've not experienced before. But it all started, basically after the snows melted. But
excuse me, Mayor Beric. This
you might be able to understand our predicament. And he points over to Talgar. We would appreciate if you could be sure not to put our colleague in harm's way, being that you have an orc problem. I see you can understand the predicament that we're in. And he tears out a piece of paper with the image of Talgar on it and says, please be sure to pass this around and make sure that he does not come to harm. Otherwise, our deal, as fortuitous as it is for both of us, may become problematic.
The mayor kind of takes it in and says that he'll do his best and he'll pass words that the strangers in town are here to assist, and that should win a few hearts and minds over. But to understand that the pressure that some of these farmers and simple folk are feeling, anything with tusks and pale complexion or green complexion is going to strike some strong feelings in them.
Understandably, but yes, as long as it does not break out into any problems, then I don't think this should be an issue. What time of day is it at the moment?
It's going to be evening very soon.
He turns to the barkeep. Sir, do you have lodging available for me and my compatriots?
Cyril says absolutely, and should be honored to have you stay here at the Griffin's Nest. And especially after the good charity and goodwill shown by the party and kind of a budding friendship. She is willing to let you stay here. She'll have to charge you for food and drink, but she's willing to cover your boarding in regards to the room fees.
This is greatly appreciated.
Oh, yes, indeed. That's very generous. Thank you.
All right.
I think it's probably in our best interest to get a rest before we head out on our adventure.
Yes, I would agree. Kelly, would you say that we've had at least a short rest at this point?
Oh yeah, you definitely had a short rest, and if you're gonna sleep, you'll have a long rest as well. So.
Not all of us need real sleep.
Before I retire to my room, I'm going to go up to the counter and place an additional 5 gold down and thank her for her hospitality.
She takes it and just says thank you for blessing her establishment.
Smile and nod.
Oh, it is morning. You awaken and she's prepared you rations to take off while you just give you strength while you slay the orc menace and drive them from Blassendell.
I'll lean in and ask her, when was the last time the orcs attacked? And what side of the town did they attack from? Northeast?
It would have been night before last, and it would have been northeast.
My intent is to go look for tracks once we're ready to roll.
Okay.
I think we'll get a long rest.
Yes, I
Yeah,
believe
you cycle your long rest. It's morning already.
Cool.
All right. So it is 12:09. Are we good to go for a little while longer? Or?
I'm having a ball, but if folks have to go, let's go. But if you want to keep going, I'm good.
I'm fine to continue.
I am okay.
And
I'm personally not doing too hot. But if y'all want to continue without me, or I can try to hang in a little bit longer.
I'm not going to
no.
go for very much longer, but I would like to get possibly just a little bit further down and probably have one more encounter.
Sure, 20 minutes, half hour.
Sounds good to me.
Cast Cure Disease. Cure Disease.
I'm not in range. I have to be within touch range.
Vinny, come spit on me.
Again, you can cycle a long rest. You guys are healthy and full when y'all are ready to leave.
Yep, we're good to go.
Okay. So you travel for a period of well, first off, from this point forward, how many rations do you guys have?
Good question.
I have
Because from
10.
this point forward, you've kind of been able to fend for yourselves and whatnot. Moving forward from here, we are going to begin to track ration count and consumables.
Cool.
How much do you want me to break that with Goodberry?
That's up to you. If you have the spell slot and you would like to
Okay.
use it, then that is completely up to you with Goodberry. I just want to make it known so I don't have you drive out into the wilderness and be like, "Oh yeah, we're counting rations," and somebody's got I've got 2. You will
I
be
have
able to
17.
attempt to forage and things of that nature, but I'm just wanting to point that out that we are going to start tracking that.
How many
Oh,
rations
good.
did this woman give us?
She basically give you each 1 ration.
Cool. I will spend the appropriate gold to bring my rations up to 10.
Okay, so use the D&D Beyond, and she's able to provide that for you.
Cool.
It's a variety of hardtack, some biscuits, some jerky, some hard cheeses and whatnot. Things that wouldn't perish very quickly.
Cool. Good to go.
Okay. So, leaving the town as you head off towards the northeast, keeping an eye out for tracks. Every once in a while, you do run across some that are consistent with orcs. They all seem to be kind of heading to the north, to the northeast, that general direction. You track them, and through a trail that a game trail more than anything else, through the woods to the northeast. As you travel north from that mining town of Blassingdale and farming community, you pass through brooding pine forest and deep vales. As you kind of crest over a small hill, you can catch sight of a tall, steep hill that rises to a prominent bare knob of rock, which clearly almost looks like a stone tooth jutting from the forest. A thin spire of smoke rises from some unseen point high on the hill slopes, and you can make out a steep, kind of narrow road or track that runs kind of back and forth across the face of this large structure.
Gonna be sneaky and check it out.
Okay.
Karl, before you go ahead, do you have a signal in case you run into any sort of trouble?
I will try to minor illusions of information. Good question. What should I put? What would you like to see? What would make the most sense?
Well,
Something
Vinny,
like that.
Do you have any good ideas?
Okay, I could make a crowing sound, perhaps, if that would be sufficient.
Well, at the same time, that might give away the element of surprise. Maybe something. I believe you can minor illusion something 30 foot high.
Yes, I could. What do you think would be the most useful for an imminent attack?
This is very good. This would require some forethought and some planning. For now, maybe we just
you just make the arrow point in direction of the enemy. How about that?
I can do that.
We will
GPS.
keep the eye open for your signal. Tyee seems to be quite proficient at keeping an eye out.
Sounds like we have our order.
Are we on
Okay,
any
so-
particular board?
Not yet. We're not quite. I need to have a couple questions answered. So, we have a scout.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So scout, you're standing basically in front of this path that kind of you can see this game trail is actually opened up to now being kind of a path that's been cut. You do see several orc tracks in the mud here and there that look like they were following this path. It's really hard to see kind of from this vantage point up around the hillside or anything else, but you can clearly see this path forward that runs almost into the base of this stone structure and weaves kind of back and forth up the stone face.
Do I see any fresh orc tracks?
Roll me a survival check.
21.
You do see several pairs of orc tracks. Some actually lead straight up and down the path. Others branch out into the woods to either direction.
We're going to cast invisibility on ourselves and try to creep closer over the lip.
Up to the so there's a path that leads to the kind of the stone face, or
Yeah.
then the path kind of starts weaving back and forth up the mountainside.
Starting up to the being very cautious. So starting to the stone face.
Okay. So as you begin to close in on the stone face, the party kind of keeping a decent distance behind you, you start to see that some of the construction of this stone path is actually really well worn, dirt and mud covered from rains, but it's clearly identifiable as cut stone, like dwarven stonework that makes up parts of this path as it gets closer to the stone structure, the mountain.
And no visible orcs yet?
None yet. The dwarf path kind of leads up to a bare shoulder of rock and then kind of turns into the deep kind of cleft in the hillside. And it kind of leads up to what looks to be just kind of below the kind of knuckle of the curve of the tooth.
Not seeing any orcs, Karl. We can continue to creep up the path stealthily as possible. While
then
invisible.
So the party, were you just standing kind of there waiting for him?
As far as I can understand, the intent was he scouts in and gives, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just making sure because I got to switch to a different board than I thought we were going to be on.
So I am twiddling my thumbs, waiting patiently.
Okay, so we're going to be on Mountain Door.
This is when I miss my aberrant sorcerer that I could make a telepathic link.
It would be nice.
Wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah, with the
I see. So my approach would be as I hit one bend, I would make a minor illusion that says "come up" with an arrow pointing down. When I would determine it to be clear.
Gotcha. It's there's a little bit of a challenge trying to go from like some of the Theater of the Mind to like Talespire boards.
Talespire
lot of
shit, man.
On the 2D like VTTs, it's a lot. There's a lot more staging and like maps and stuff that you can kind of explore. On this, like I have to be somewhat picky. You're gonna want to move your character back down, please. As boulders fall on you from the unstable mountainside.
Okay.
In an unready DM.
Moonbeam on the boulders.
Moonbeam on the boulders.
Pass without a trace. Come on.
Do they have resistance to moonbeam?
Mold earth on the boulder to keep it.
Mauled Earth. Oh my god. This party breaks all the meta.
I'm just really happy my PC can handle having all these applications and windows open now.
Yeah, you and Callie were having issues with your fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the case fans are set up to determine the CPU temperature, not so much I'll have to send a picture of what I've set up, but I've got two 120mm fans at the bottom blowing directly over the heatsink of the GPU, and I've taken off the shroud from the GPU.
Okay.
Sorry.
We're ready.
Yep.
Okay. So, Karl, you are invisible. You're creeping up. The path climbs one last kind of steep switchback towards a bare shoulder of rock. The hillside rises steeply on your right and drops away precariously on your left. Debris and rubbish lie scattered over the last 100 yards or so. You see a couple discarded water skins, bits of charred bone, splintered cask and kegs. And up ahead, the path kind of opens into a wide ledge and then doubles back sharply back into the mountainside.
I would say every 50 foot. If I scouted it to be clear, I would make a minor illusion notifying my compatriots to move up. So they shouldn't be more than 50 foot from me.
You basically get to that point
Okay.
when you see two bestial kind of humanoids in hide armor that look to be standing watch on the ledge. They appear to be inattentive and rather kind of bored with the situation.
All right. Would I be able to sneak back to my compatriots without them notice? Well, that's what I'll do. Once spotting them, I'll attempt to sneak back around the corner to I'm invisible, so I'll go back around the corner to my compatriots to convey what I've found.
Okay.
There's two orcs ahead. They appear to not notice anything. Also, you guys remember, like, I'm invisible, so you just hear my voice.
Yeah.
What do we want to do? Do you want to try to get the jump on them, or do you want me to try to get around the side? What do we think?
Well, there's no way there's just two orcs.
I agree. There's likely more. I saw two. They looked bored. They looked easy to deceive.
Kind of look up along the ledge, see if I can't identify any type of, I don't know, like boulder traps or anything like that.
Are you going to try to sneak up?
No, I'm just going to look up.
Oh, looking up, you just kind of see the rock face there in front of you. I mean, there's a few loose rocks in it and stuff, but there doesn't appear to be any traps or like anything suspended or anything of that nature.
Oh, okay.
I'll look down at Vinny. Vinny, would you like to take advantage of your history and see if you could talk to these orcs? Maybe they'll trust you just based on your appearance.
I don't know how to speak like an orc.
Did you mean Talgar?
Either or, both would be accepted by orcs. Possibly orcs might not like a half orc. Maybe they'll like a goblin. But between everybody, maybe we pick one. And
Personally, I think they need moon, fire, and arrows.
ultimately, they do. We want them to play their card first, or their hand first.
I believe that I could very easily make a distraction to occupy them while we get the surprise on them.
I'll certainly be able to get a surprise on them if we'd like. I just wanted to put it up for a conversation. If we were ready to jump in, let's jump in.
How do we know they're not
Depends.
like scouts that'll alert others if they see anything?
Oh, don't you worry. They are.
I have no doubt they are, so if we do engage them, we need to be able to down them quickly.
I mean, I surely could mold some earth and create a small fall of rock, maybe cause their attention to be diverted. Maybe do you think that Karl should maybe get a little further ahead, find out if there's more to be worried about?
I don't know if I could get past the two to see any further. I could try, but I would need you on my heels in case things go sideways.
Very well.
I can also disguise myself and try, but I don't speak Orc. I don't think this will go well if I try that.
But then maybe we disguise the Paladin and we make him full orc then.
I have a kit. We can try.
What does Vinny, Tyee, do you have any thoughts?
I think this is just a little bit kind of outside of our wheelhouse. I think we are trying a little too hard, potentially.
Well, I mean, I am no good to storm the gate as it would be, but I will definitely provide assistance if somebody else wish to take the rein.
Vinny has a way better way with words than I do.
Sorry, huh?
He's
What?
got a
Huh?
point. Vinny has a persuasive nature around him. We could try to set up quickly and quietly as possible and send Vinny ahead. And if it goes sideways, we're ready to put the orcs down. I can get into position very easily.
Okay, I guess.
Would that be reasonable? I could give a 5 count, get myself in position, get Vinny up there, and see what you want to do. Keep in mind what you want to talk to them about.
Did the town ever mention goblins were around? Because if I walk up and goblins aren't a common thing around here, ain't they gonna raise a question?
If they do, we put them down.
I am starting to feel the thoughts of Tyee that we may be over-engineering this and we should just strike fast and strike strong. Tyee, would you agree?
Okay.
Yes, I do. Dear God, this is your opportunity for vengeance. Fulfill your oath and walk forward, please.
If I wanted to come back and ask, so if that's what we'd
fucking
like to do. If that's what we'd like to do, I'll go get in position, give you the signal.
Well, I mean, Karl, you can get in position, get yourself some advantage, and we can send our paladin friend to the front, and when they charge, then we spring the trap.
That works for me.
Sounds good.
Well then, we should all get to where we need to be.
Are y'all sneaking up or?
We're hiding. We're gonna hold back behind Talgar, and he's gonna be like 20, 30 feet ahead of us, and he's gonna make his presence aware to the half orcs and pretty much get their attention. And when they come down, then we'll attack.
Okay, so y'all just kind of hanging out at the bottom of next to the rocks, so that you're out of sight.
Yes.
Yep, and Karl will obviously be holding his attack ready for Talgar to. Talgar will kind of be the trigger here.
See how they react and go from
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of the way I see it. Talgar is the trigger, and depending on how they react, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna start to just kind of doing the shooing motion with Talgar. Just go, my friend. Be brave. This is what you are about.
All right, Mr. Talgar, what are you doing?
I'll start making my way up towards him, see what happens.
Making my way.
All right. So as you clamber up the rocks here, kind of, I'll put your kind of, I guess, right over here. Is there something that you want to say to them, or are you just waiting for them to react?
For them to react to my appearance and see what they do.
Okay. So they making my way. So they look to have two longbows in their hands, and they both draw them as they see you emerge. One of them yells in really broken guttural common. The other one yells in orc to basically like halt. Who the fuck are you? And what do you want? You're trespassing.
I have merely lost my way. Can you tell me where I am?
Well, it's not this way. Go back the other way. You're lucky we don't shoot you and fill you into holes right now. If Thark here wasn't in such a good mood, I'd skewer you myself.
I have no need for that. Can I like slowly keep approaching them while trying to talk to them?
They look a real, like, now they're like kind of like getting nervous as you're approaching. They kind of take just a step back and then say, "I'm warning you, I'll shoot."
You don't want to do that.
Are you going to continue to approach them?
Yep.
All right.
And I motion to the party behind me to come, get as close as they can.
In that case, Thark releases his arrow at you.
That'll be Karl's trigger to shoot.
Yeah. Give me just a moment because he's going to get his action first since he's the one triggering it. Encounters. And he rolls a 10. And it sails past you. Seeing his compatriot release an arrow, he just shrugs and gets ready to release his. Karl, what was your action?
So whichever one's shot, I'm going to release an arrow at.
Okay, in that case, let's go ahead and everybody roll initiatives.
$12.
I'll go with the 12. Tyee?
17.
17. And Karl?
9.
9. And Vinny?
21.
21.
It sucks when my bonus is double the dice roll that I made.
All right, so here is the first arrow. It goes wide. And Karl, you're going to roll to hit the one that's shot.
Nat 20.
So that hits.
All right, so double the dice. So it's going to be a 48 plus 3. This is surprise round, right? This isn't my first real round?
This is the prize round.
Right, okay. So, yeah, that's 48 plus 3. $19.
19 against the one that shot you. So how do you want to do it?
So after he looses the bow, Karl whips an arrow out of his quiver as quick as he can, nocks it, pulls it back, and launches it. It sails true, plunging right through the goblin's or the orc's chest and right on his back.
Oh, Vinny.
He kind of spins from the impact, looks at the other one as his eyes go wide, just chugging like blood out with this hole in his chest and this shot. He just then kind of like rolls back onto his back, his compatriot looking on in horror, and then we will kick off initiative now. So Vinny, you are up first.
Oh, joy. So I start running in. Help! Help! There's stupid orcs standing guard! And I cast Vicious Mockery at that one that's remaining. Wisdom saving throw of 12.
He rolls a 15.
And then bonus action, try to hide. That's it.
Okay. Unfortunately, you're kind of where you're at, and you were yelling as your last action.
Yeah.
You're not going to succeed in hiding.
Nope.
B there is then going to spin and shoot at the new threat of Karl. And that is a 22.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
All right. Right, bear with me.
No.
Sorry, is it A or B that's standing?
There we go. So that does 9 points of piercing damage as the orc
I thought
longbow arrow hits.
Yeah, I thought B died on impact because I think B was the one that shot. Whichever one shot was the one that died. But yeah, you said 9, so I'm taking 9.
All right, let me kill that one. So he shoots with it, and then he begins yelling at the top of his lungs in orc, "We're under attack!" And then he will take his movement. And begins running that direction. And that makes it Tyee. You're up. Talgar, you're on deck.
I'm going to move right there. And
Shit, you're under the tree. I was like trying to find your model.
yeah.
Like,
and I'm going to use my bonus action to light up my robes. And I'm going to send a archery bolt at this guy.
okay.
Does a 13 hit?
A 13 does hit, just
Oh.
barely. As it snakes and finds a weak joint in the armor.
9 radiant damage.
That hits for 9 radiant damage. He don't look so hot.
And that's it.
Okay. Talgar, you are up, followed by Karl.
I'm gonna pursue after him. How tall are these like ledges? How difficult is the terrain? I guess.
That would be very difficult terrain. It's a pretty steep stone kind of rock outcropping. Now the things that are like directly in front of you,
That you can get your full movement on.
Okay.
Unless you're, I thought you were asking about scaling like the cliff face.
Oh no, just trying to go up the step
Oh yeah,
looking
just
area.
yeah. It's the normal.
Like there, does that look right?
That looks fine.
Can't quite reach him with my sword, so I'm gonna chunk a javelin at him.
You should come running up like Spartan style and just chunk it at him.
You kind of would be able to get the full 6 tiles to be face to face with him.
All right,
Yeah, because remember diagonals count too.
that's true. All right, then I'm gonna swing at him with my sword.
Okay. I like the javelin personally.
True, but this does more damage if I can fucking hit. Motherfucker, 6.
It goes wide. Anything else?
Bonus action, I want to cast the compelling duel on him so he doesn't keep running.
Okay.
That's a wisdom save of 12.
So that keeps him from running away?
Well, it doesn't keep him, but it compels him to come towards me. What does it do? He's compelled to be drawn towards me. It doesn't like stop him from running away.
Well, doesn't he have
But
to make a
it's disadvantage
wisdom?
on attacking anybody else.
Doesn't he have to
Yeah.
make a wisdom saving throw if he gets a certain distance from you, or tries to move a certain distance from you?
It must make a wisdom saving throw each time it attempts to move a space that is more than 30 feet away from me. If you don't succeed on this saving throw, the spell doesn't restrict the target's movement for that turn. Okay. So I need to make my saving throw then, basically. Papa needs a save, and it's a 9. So he is compelled. Anything else?
That's it.
Karl, you're up.
Oh, right. I think from where I'm at, I've got a clean. Oh, right. This is my first round, so I get to do my first round bullshit. All right. 2 attacks are gonna fire against him. I do still see Warg A. Oh, I see Talgar ran up to Warg A. So yeah, we're shooting Warg A.
Damn, the racism running thick with Karl. You green dudes all look the same.
Damn.
First shot's a 22, probably hits.
Town was my problem. Yeah, that definitely hits.
Second shot's a 20, probably hits.
That definitely will hit.
Oh, of course, standard bonus action is Hunter's Mark before I did it. Yeah. It should just be accepted I do that.
It's within, if it's within the turn, it's an easier thing to do. No dice has been rolled yet.
All right, so we got 2d8 plus 2d6 plus 3.
Okay. How do you want to do it?
All right, well, as it's running away, pulling the arrow from the quiver again, knocking the arrow, pulling it back, making careful aim not to hit Talgar and get around him. The arrow flies true over his shoulder, pulling a little bit of his hair along with it as it wisps by and striking the orc right in the back of the skull.
Talgar runs into like Matrix time and just watches the arrow slowly go by.
As a bonus action, Karl will yell out, "It's not over. He called alarm. Get ready. More are coming."
Yes, the element of surprise is no longer with us. I think we should make haste.
Oh, I saw a 30-foot of movement, so I'm going to move up behind. Well, actually, are we out of combat technically, or?
No, you are not.
All right. Well, as part of my turn, I'm going to move up.
No, you are not.
take position behind Talgar, and we'll see where we go. And then I am done.
Okay.
So how's Hunter's Mark work now? So I threw a Hunter's Mark on that guy. He died. Oh, I next turn, if I see something, I can bonus action Hunter's Mark on it without paying a spell slot, I believe.
Vesmir, you're up.
Okay, Vesmir moves up his movement up to about here, and then will mold earth in front of him to pretty much give himself full cover.
Okay.
In line with the top of the stairs.
Vinny, you're up.
When he called for help, did he call in Orcish and Common?
He was calling an orc.
Oh, so I wouldn't have
So
known.
he just ran off screaming.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take my 30 feet of movement to get kind of closer. And then I'm going to... I heard the one orc with the broken common. So I'm going to try to yell, "We got him! We good! Don't have to come!"
I was gonna try to do that since I speak orc.
Do you speak orc?
Vinny doesn't. He's
Vinny?
doing the broken common like the other orc.
Oh, okay. Roll me a persuasion with disadvantage.
With disadvantage. All right. Let me... Aw. 9.
Yeah, unfortunately, well, yeah, you've yelled that.
Can I attempt to yell it in orc?
It is no longer your turn.
All right.
So, Vinny has now yelled that out. Anything else?
Bonus action, hide down here with the rocks are.
Okay. So you hide where the rocks are. So, as you kind of slay this orc, Vinny, you kind of yell this out. The desired effect is not what you want, and you see multiple bolts fire out of the kind of rock face as you see some arrow slits carved about like 15 feet above the door. You see movement behind him and the bolts come out. Trying to get back to the encounter. There we go. So, double check something. 2 bolts come out, one at Vinny, one at Talgar. The one to Vinny is an 18.
Hey, I took damage.
And you take 9 points of piercing damage as the arrow hits you, rather. And Talgar, one flies out towards you. It is a natural 20.
Oh, good.
It does 7 points of piercing damage. Things happen. And Tyee, you're up. Talgar, you're on deck.
Move right there. And yeah, that's gonna I'm gonna hold my action in case something comes down these stairs or is like visible for me to do something about.
Okay.
Yeah, that ends my turn.
Karl, you're up. Vesmir, you're on deck.
Karl's going to use his action to hide because nobody can see him from here.
Okay. Roll me a stealth check.
Ooh, 24.
Okay.
You feel you are one with the rock face.
I want one with a rock face, and then we'll just scooch up 30 foot on the rock. I'll measure it and move here in a sec. But
Okay.
that's effectively my turn.
Vesmir, you're up. Vinny, you're
So
on deck.
would Vesmir be aware of where these bolts were coming from?
Yeah, you can see the arrow slits from where you're at.
Vesmir casts mold earth across the slits in the rock face to try and fill them over.
Okay, because of spacing, you can basically do that at one at a time. I mean, how? Because it's what, a 5-foot area?
5 foot cube, yeah.
Yeah, so you can basically do one of them at a time. There's four arrow slits looking down, kind of at you.
Can I change that and just remove a 5-foot cube of space to where, basically revealing whatever was behind it and just pulling that dirt away, rock away?
Okay, just like kind of crushing it and it's like out of the way.
Yeah.
This isn't exactly loose dirt. This is actual like stone masonry. This is kind of a
Gotcha.
hardened structure.
All right. Well, then I'll just fill the first one up.
Okay, so you kind of push some of the loose cobble and debris and stuff that's around, but fill in the gap on one of the arrow slits, the one of the ones you saw the bolt come from.
Yep. And then I'll proceed to get back behind my full cover.
Okay, Vinny, you're up.
I can see the other slit from where I'm at, right?
Yes, you can.
All right. I know it's a slit, but I'm still going to try to fire a crossbolt into it.
Okay, so roll your attack.
Attack's going to be 23.
23 will hit.
Ooh. That's going to be, wow, 9 points of piercing damage.
You hear a guttural like squeal and screech as like one of them gets hit by this bolt.
That's how it feels! And then I try to hide.
Okay. In response, you see one of the shapes move to the other open slit, and then 2 more arrows come out. One
There
at
were 3
Talgar,
open
one at
slits?
Vinny. There's 4.
Oh.
But you saw shapes. I mean, 2 arrows came out from 2 of them.
Right.
So, to Vinny, that is a 10 as one narrowly misses you, and to Talgar, a natural 1 as another arrow comes flying out and hits you, right next to your foot. That's that. Let me just double check something. Okay. It is Tyee's turn. Talgar, you're on deck.
Hello. I'm gonna move half my movement. There. Can I see any targets?
You can see 2 shapes in the arrow slits.
All right. I'm gonna take an aim at one of the shapes in the arrow slits and send an archery bolt up at him.
Okay.
Yeah, plenty. Does a 26 hit?
A 26. Like both, like you and Vinny just like weave your attacks through this small slit.
9 radiant damage.
How much?
9.
9. That hits. Okay. You hear a guttural cry as well.
Roll.
Anything else?
Yeah, I'm gonna use the rest of my movement and move back over to where I was.
Okay.
And that'll end my turn.
Karl, you're up.
All right, so thinking we're still pretty stealthy, we're going to creep 30 foot more up the ramp to try to get up the mountain.
Okay, maybe wherever you need to be.
About right there is 30 foot. That's all we're going to do.
Oh, okay. Vesmir, you're up. Vinny, you're on deck.
I'll use Mold Earth again to cover up another one, and then I will walk up, or move up as far as I can, hugging the wall. Is it this wall that I'm up against that the arrow slits are against?
It's up above, like where Karl is.
Like above him, yeah?
Yeah.
So if I hug that wall, they wouldn't necessarily be able to see me.
They would be very. They would probably be able to do it like 3/4 cover type thing.
Cool. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I've covered one with Mold Earth, and I will just move up, hugging the wall as best as possible.
Okay.
That's my turn.
Vinny, you're up.
Did I get a turn or did I miss it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think we did miss you. So
I was like, I feel like it was time soon.
yeah, no, it was definitely I skipped you.
I wasn't doing much other. I was going to get against the wall and hug the wall to try to get out of range of the slits and then just kind of move my way up with everybody else.
Okay. Okay, so are you doing anything else?
No, I'm gonna hold my action for if anything comes down at us.
All right, Vinny, you're up.
I'll move up too. I can at least see his shape through the slit.
Yeah, you do see dark shapes moving around.
Okay, well, I'll target a random one, and I'll wave a feather at it and say, well, you know, when the going gets tusk, the tusk gets going, and cast hideous laughter.
Yeah, okay, so you can only see one of them through the slit at the moment. The other one get covered up by mold earth. But yeah, you cast that one. What's the wisdom saving throw?
Wisdom saving throw 12.
Well, I rolled an 8.
So now he's laughing for
Womp womp.
a full minute.
Okay, so you see the shape start. You hear bellowing laughter. An orc just erupt from somewhere inside of the cliff face.
Karl gives a sympathetic nod.
Okay, anything else?
That'll be it.
The orcs will attempt to shoot down at Talgar, and the wizard Vesmir.
Are we under any kind of cover since we're against the wall?
Yeah, you have 3/4 cover. And I rolled a 17 for Talgar and a 12 for Vesmir.
That misses.
Cutting
Nice.
words for Vesmir. You missed! Ha!
This time, the shapes back away from the windows after their shot.
Except for the one that's laughing.
And Leah, Tyee, you're up.
Yeah. I'm gonna move up here behind Vesmir, and I'm gonna take the dodge action.
Sounds like a plan. Talgar, you're up. Karl, you're on deck.
So I'm gonna keep moving along the wall as far as I can. And continue to hold my action.
Okay. Karl, you're up. Vesmir, you're up.
Another 30 foot creeping along the edge, staying as stealthy as we can, and then we're done.
All right, Vesmir.
Vesmir will Mold Earth and cover the third out of fourth, and then use 30 feet of movement.
Okay.
Staying against the wall, and that's his turn.
Vinny, you're up.
Uh, I thought you mentioned that the arrow slits were above a door.
They were above the Karl when he was up against the wall, like where Karl's at right now. Like there's slits in the wall. That's the rock face that had the 4 arrow slits.
Oh, well, I'm gonna both move and dash to get up with the rest of the party.
Okay.
Actually, I wanna.
Are you gonna do anything else?
No, I'm just gonna get closer.
Hi, it is
12.
your turn, and right at the beginning of your turn, you hear heavy iron doors clang shut. And then your turn starts.
It seems like there might have been some movement, gentlemen. Be ready. And I'm going to move forward just shy of my movement and take the dodge action again.
Sounds good. Karl, you're up.
Wow, again. Yeah, I don't have much more. I mean, same. Do I actually? I don't have to burn an action to stay hidden. I guess I could probably take dodge as well as an action. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm staying as stealthy as possible, moving 30 foot up, taking the dodge action. The idea here is to get up and try to get in.
Vesmir, you're up. The
I will.
canyon face echoing with orcish laughter.
I will mold earth the final arrow slit so they're completely covered.
Okay.
And I will move right up to the edge of this corner before going around it and just hold here.
Okay. Vinny, you're up.
I just go up to the group and I kind of shout, without any magic, just shouting, little pigs, let us in." And that's it.
Okay. Double check something. Moving eastward from the ledge, the trail turns south and rises steeply through a cleft in the rock towards a grand entrance. Shallow steps, some broken in large gaps of stone, lead up through a steep fissure running north-south along the mountain before they turn east into the mountainside. Here, a broad entrance has been carved out of stone. Marbled steps cracked with age and veined with green moss lead up to a strong double door of carved stone, 10 feet wide and almost 20 feet tall. Arrow slits high on the north and south walls command this area. As a bolt or an arrow is unleashed towards you, Mr. Oh no, because they can't see you. Because you're invisible. But that's what you see then.
I mean, technically, I'm stealth at this point. I'm not invisible.
Yeah,
but high stealth.
With your stealth roll, they don't see you.
Gotcha.
But you stand before the large doors there that lead into the Stone Tooth complex. And this is where we are going to pause for this week's session. I'm dragged a little bit later than I anticipated, but this is a good stopping point as we will continue the battle.
Excellent.
Next week.
Brilliant.